Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Wherever you're at in the world, welcome to Last Rouse Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, it is Pacific League action as we are going to be bringing you the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters and the Orix Buffaloes. It is the second game of this series, as there was some Monday baseball in Japan yesterday. The Buffaloes took that one from the Fighters. We're going to give the starting lineups, first of all, from the visitors for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. Leading off in left field is number 60. That's going to be Kengo Yoshida. Hitting second in center field is number 7, Go Matsumoto. Batting third and doing the designated hitting is number 99, Franmil Reyes. Batting in the cleanup spot and playing first base is number 5, Yuki Nomura. Hitting fifth at third base is number 21, Kotaro Kiyomiya. Batting in the sixth spot and in right field, it is going to be number 66, Chusei Manami. Hitting seventh at second base tonight is number 54, Shu Yamagata. Batting in the eighth spot and at shortstop is number 43, Tatsumi Mizuno. Batting ninth and doing the catching is number 23, Tori Fushimi. And they're going to be facing Kohei Azuma, who takes to the hill with a 3-4 record. He has worked 58 2/3 innings. He's allowed 47 hits. He has given up 18 runs, 17 of which have been earned. He's walked 15 and struck out 38, and he's pitched to a 2.61 ERA. Well, that's your lineup for the visitors from Hokkaido. Now your starting lineup for the Orix Buffaloes. Leading off and playing third base tonight is number 30, Taishi Haruka. Hitting second and left field is number 7, Ryoma Nishikawa. In the 3 spot and playing second base is number 31, Ryo Oda. In the cleanup spot in right field is number 99, Yutaro Sugimoto. Batting fifth and doing designated hitting is number 4, Tomoya Mori. Batting sixth in center field is number 67, Kai Nakagawa. Hitting seventh at shortstop is number 24, Kotaro Kiyomiya. Batting eighth at first base wearing number 54 is Jordan Diaz. And batting ninth and doing the catching wearing number 2 is Kenya Wakatsuki. And they're going to be facing the ace of the Fighters staff. It'll be Hiromi Ito, who takes to the hill. He's got a 3-1 record on the year. He's worked 37 innings. He's allowed 28 hits, 12 runs, all of which have been earned. He has walked a sparkling only 5 batters while striking out 43, pitching to a 2.92 earned run average. Well, the right-hander Azuma's on the hill. He is completing his tune-up tosses. We'll be ready to go in just a couple moments. We appreciate everybody who's popped in. Our friend Harrison's already in here with us. We're glad you can make it in. We'll be right back in 30 seconds with all the action.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It is Azuma just completing his tune-up tosses as we're ready to get this one underway. It'll be Yoshida, Matsumoto, and Reyes to come to bat here for the Fighters in the top of the first inning. It is a busy day in Osaka and a very good crowd at the Kyocera Dome. Sometimes in Japan, the Kyocera Dome and the Orix Buffaloes don't always get the best attendance, but today an afternoon game and a holiday is bringing out the best of the Osaka natives to come and see these two teams play, the number 1 and 2 teams in the Pacific. As the first pitch of the ball game is on its way, it's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0 to Yoshida. The first pitch official time is 2:02 local time. As the right-hander delivers, it is a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul down the right field line. And The count now is 1 strike. Yoshida hitting .259 on the year. He's got 3 homers and 8 runs driven in. 14 for 54 at the plate as he waits here on the offering from the right-hander who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that's waved out and missed. And the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 strikes. We had a pretty good crowd in last night's affair, I guess I would say, or at least in the game that we called last night. And I would assume we probably will get a late arriving crowd here again tonight as there's a fastball that misses down. And the count runs even to 2-2 on Yoshida. These 2 ball clubs, Buffaloes is perched in first place, got a 2-game lead on the Fighters. As the Fighters have been playing some decent ball themselves. It's a little bit of an upside-down division this year as the Saitama Cebu Lions were in third place as that fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line. Count remains at 2-2. But who would have thought that the Chibolote Marines would be in the basement, and the following closely is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. But it's a long season to be had. The month of April is behind us as we are now into the month of May. As the 2-2 pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes full to Yoshida. So 3 strikes. Our friend Jimmy there. Jimmy never got back to you, unfortunately. My call took a little longer. It was only about 5 minutes before game time I was able to get off the call. I had to take care of some piece there. Our friend Harrison in the house. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. As it's on its way, it's a fastball swung on, and it's grounded foul over down the first base line. And the count remains at 3-2 to Yoshida. So 3 strikes. Our friend Jimmy Feltner listening in. I would ask him the question, what comes after Gigawatt? And here is the 3-2 pitch. Ready to come from the right-hander Izuma. Our friend Jimmy, of course, calls Pennsylvania his home. As the 3-2 is on the way. The right-hander ready to go. Izuma kicks and he delivers. It's a breaking ball missing down. It's going to be ball 4. And Yoshida's got himself a leadoff walk to start the first inning. Quite the battle there. An 8-pitch at bat as he wins it there for the Fighters. And that is going to bring up the center fielder and Go Matsumoto. So defensively tonight for the Buffaloes, from left to right field, it is Nishikawa in left. Nakagawa is in center, and the right fielder is Sugimoto. Around the horn from first to third, Diaz is at first. Oda is at second. The shortstop is Kobayashi with the third baseman Haruka. And the battery is of Izuma and Wakatsuki. Buffaloes are sporting their dark uniforms, I guess you would call it, with the gold numbering and the pinstripes. I guess it would be their black or possibly even navy blue. I'd hate to call it one way or the other. There's a fastball that's delivered and is bunted foul by Matsumoto, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Matsumoto hitting an even 200 on the year, no homers and a couple RBIs. Only 1 stolen base for the center fielder of the Fighters. A couple of years ago, he was ratcheting it up as he was well north of 20 stolen bases. He may have been losing a step or two over the last couple of seasons. Again, squaring the bunt here, so it looks like early on they're going to be playing for 1 run. And there's another one bunted and another one bunted foul, and the count is now 0-2 to Matsumoto. Harrison asks if he's a Phillies fan. Well, he's in Pittsburgh, but he is definitely not a Pittsburgh fan. He is a Reds fan. Interesting, it looks like that Matsumoto is using a torpedo bat. Yes, that is one of the torpedo bats have made their way over to the NPB. Well, twice he tried to bunt with the torpedo bat, and it didn't work. So it is no balls and 2 strikes here. I did hear that the Fighters got a shipment of the torpedo bats in. I wonder if it'll help their game any, as the 0-2 is on the way. It's a fastball that misses down. Count goes to 1-2. The lettering and the numbering, well, maybe not the conventional numbers, but the lettering and the nameplates on the Buffaloes jersey are all in kanji. The advertising is not, nor are the numbers. So 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Matsumoto. As the right-hander holds to the set. And they throw over to first base, and diving back in time easily is the runner Yoshida. Matsumoto. Ready to go here as he is waiting on the offering from the right-hander Azuma. Azuma gets his sign, now delivers. Fastball just misses inside. Wakatsuki sure didn't like the call as he held the ball for quite a while there. And the look from Azuma tells a heck of a story. That pitch was painted. But not getting any call from the home plate umpire on that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matsumoto. A couple of the other games in the NPB were rained out tonight. And both of those were in Tokyo. The game in Chiba was washed out, as was the game at the Jingu Stadium, where the Swallows play their home games. So 2 games were washed out because of the rain in the area. The game, of course, that is going on between the Saitama Cebu Lions and Fukuoka is at the Balluna Dome. So, as is the game at the Tokyo Dome later today when the Hanshin Tigers pay a visit to the Amuri Giants. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded over the head of the pitcher, fielded and stepped on the bag by the shortstop, Kobayashi, and he throws to first. Boy, oh boy, I don't know. I'd like to take a look at that on the replay. I know that he got the ball. I know he got to the ball, but I don't know if he was able to hold on to the bag as long as he could. But what a fantastic play that was by Kotaro Kobayashi, ranging to his left. He had stepped on the bag. The base umpire went up with the right hand. That's going to be a double play, 6-3, as it retires Matsumoto on the back end. So 2 in the books. That's going to bring up the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. Reyes has cooled off a little bit since his busy start to the year. He is hitting .260. He's got 5 homers and 17 runs batted in. The first pitch breaking ball misses down. It's 1-0 to Reyes. Big fella here enjoyed himself a heck of a season in his first year, setting a record for most consecutive hits in a game by an import for the Fighters, as that fastball is taken for a called strike. Count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded softly over to second, fielded neatly as they throw to first, and that is going to retire Reyes. It goes as a ground out, 4-3. He's going to be gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that's going to do it here for the Fighters in the first half of their inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. It's an unconventional 1-2-3 inning. Your scores, we move to the bottom of the first. It is the Fighters no score, the Buffaloes coming to bat. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. We appreciate you guys for listening with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back in just a few. It is the Fighters and the Buffaloes, 0-0 as we move to the bottom of the first. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Taishi Haruka, Ryoma Nishikawa, and Ryo Oda to come to bat here in the bottom of the first inning for the Buffaloes to face Hiromi Ito, who is completed his tune-up tosses. Ito has been absolutely electric here in 2025, the ace of the Fighters staff. Haruka batting .370 on the early going, a couple homers and 3 RBIs. As the right-hander ready to go here. Kicks and he fires. There's a fastball that misses up and in for a ball. The count is 1-0. 28-year-old Haruka getting the start at third base. 17 for 46 to start the year. Making it very difficult for the Buffaloes to take him out of the batting order. As the 1-0 is on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike. And the count goes even at 1-1. Defensively tonight for the Fighters, from left to right field, Yoshida is in left, Matsumoto in center. The right fielder is Manami. As the right-hander Ito ready to deliver again. As he kicks and he fires. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded deep into the 6 hole and underneath the glove of the shortstop Mizuno, and that's going to be a leadoff single here for Haruka. So his hot hitting continues as that ball has eyes. Our friend Gracie Lynn has made it in tonight. It's going pretty good. How you doing? We wondered if you were going to make it in. A rare early appearance here for some Monday night baseball, early Tuesday morning. We started to put some of our schedule up for the rest of the week. We are going to be on the airwaves with a few major league games, and we'll come back to the NPB toward the latter part of the week. So runner at first is Haruka. There is nobody gone as Ryoma Nishikawa comes to bat. There was actually 3 holidays over 4 days in Japan. As the first pitch fastball misses outside for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Now, you're going to ask me which day is which and which one is which, and I can't remember each one, but one was Children's Day, and I believe that was yesterday. That is considered one of their holidays. As the right-hander works himself to the set position, here comes the pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. You missed it last night. We had a pretty large crowd in here. Where after our friend Harrison left, we had about 30 people in the chat. And our good friend Jimmy Feltner had to gas a guy who was in here, or I should say Redbeard, gassed somebody last night. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is to Nishikawa. Anybody has seen Gunner, let him know where he is. And then he came back under a different name and he gassed him again. So we're having a little bit of fun in the channel and in the chat last night. So 1 ball and 1 strike as Nishikawa waits here. As the fastball misses down and away, there goes the runner down to second base, and Haruka is going to get himself his first stolen base of the year. As he doesn't even draw the throw. The throw was down and away as Tori Fushimi had to backhand it. Like he caught it on the short hop, but it was a difficult one to have to try to get rid of. He may have lost the handle there, but a stolen base for Haruka. Adam Francis says, any service I can pay to watch this without having to use a VPN? And I think the answer to that is no. There was a fastball that misses down, and it trickles away. I don't know if it's hit the batter or not, or how they're going to rule this here. They're going to have a little discussion. I'll come back to that, Adam, in a minute. It looks like it may have hit the batter in the foot. They're going to send the runner back to second base because Haruka had taken off the third. So Nishikawa gets hit in the foot. He's going to get first base. It's going to bring Ryo Oda to the plate with runners at first and second and nobody out. So the problem is, Adam, I'll give you a few things to chew on and to think about. A couple of years ago, DAZN in the United States used to provide it. As our friend Gracie Lynn has hit us with a super chat. We appreciate that, Gracie Lynn. Thank you for your support. A couple of years ago, DAZN used to carry the games in the United States. And so you didn't have to do that. But I think they've dropped it. You could still get DAZN in Japan. But to your point, you're going to have a VPN. That's option number 1. Then I understood last year there was something called Friends to Friends, FTF. And that was online. And as far as I know, FTF, they too used to broadcast the games, but I don't think they did them live. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Oda. So no balls and 1 strike. So those were a couple of options. ABC out of Hawaii used to carry games. I believe it was pre-blip, pre-2020. I want to say in 2019 was when they had stopped carrying games, but you could have actually got something out of ABC Hawaii. As the 0-1 pitch ready to come here. And Oda swings and he lifts this down the right field line. It is slicing, and it's going to get into the seats, and the count is now 0-2 to Oda. So those were 2 original options. I know when I was in Japan a couple of years ago, and I was at the game at the Tokyo Dome against the Swallows, and I was talking to the staff that was there, and they were, promoting the channel that the Giants have. And I said, what about in North America? What about in the United States? What about Canada? What about Mexico? Can we get the games? There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-2. And they said, oh, no, it's only available in Japan. And I'm like, well, if people are willing to pay outside of Japan, why wouldn't you want the money? I mean, American money is just as good as Japanese yen, if not better at times. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And so really the 3 teams that are the toughest to have to get feeds, you can get feeds. The Giants, the Swallows, and the Tigers are inconsistent feeds. You really have to dig for them. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. Count is 1-2. But for them, you have to have the direct purchases because those go through the teams. And then if you don't have your VPN, that becomes a problem. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is here. And then there's the pirated stuff that you have to really dig and search. We don't put those links in there. Gracie Lynn said $1 is currently 144 yen. Yeah, absolutely. The American dollar has kind of weakened, actually, as that fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. Last year, it was about a 150. But I think it was 151 or 152 yen for a US dollar, which is unheard of. You go back 25 years ago, a McDonald's hamburger in Japan was going to set you back 10 to 15 bucks. Now it's the other way around. Some of the food costs are just unbelievably cheap. You could go and eat meals almost like you're in Latin America. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's on its way. A fastball swung on, is lifted down the right field line, foul, and the count remains at 1-2 to Oda. You go for basically, I'd say about $7 US. You could get yourself a pork cutlet, curry, rice, some scallions, and a drink. Or you could get yourself a bowl of ramen, or you could get yourself all kinds of different food, even some miso soup with that meal that I just suggested. You're only paying about $7 US. They haven't had the inflation that's been seen in North America. Here's the 1-2. Fastball swung on and missed. And Oda is retired on strikes. He's gone for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the right fielder in Yataro Sugimoto. Harrison says quarter pounder or Big Mac. Now the Big Macs were like 10 to 15 bucks once upon a time. Certainly flipped the other direction now. So Sugimoto coming to the plate. He's hitting .315 on the year, 4 homers and 8 RBIs. And then if you do have a VPN, then you're looking at places like Amazon Prime Japan, Yahoo Japan. Pitch on the way. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Sugimoto. Sugimoto, the 34-year-old, hitting .315 on the year, is really trimmed down in the offseason. Really trimmed down. He looks like a sleek version of what he used to be. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball, misses inside. The appeal over to the first base umpire, and up with the right hand was the first base umpire, and Sugimoto's count is now run even to 1-1. Friend Gracie Lynn says a US dollar gets you 502 Costa Rican colones. Yeah, it's been a few years. I remember years ago where it was kind of getting you like 400 or something, 400 and some odd. But that's been 20 years since I've been in Costa Rica. Here's the pitch. Fastball swing on, lifted into straightaway center field. Moving back underneath it is Matsumoto. Tagging at second is the runner Haruka, and he's going to make it safely into third. That's going to put runners at the corners. The fly ball out by Sugimoto. That's going to bring Tomoya Mori to the plate. So this is Mori's second game of the season. The left-handed hitting DH tonight. We haven't seen much of him. Is he the former MVP of the Pacific League? And Saitama Cebu Lion gets an opportunity. Harrison says, have a good night. He's going to be listening in. Harrison had an 8 a.m. yesterday morning. So Tomoya Mori, 1 for 3 on the season, the 29-year-old. Getting an opportunity here to hit. And the 5 spot tonight. Opportunity here for the Buffaloes. Buffaloes, I would think, got to try to get a run across here in this first inning. It'll be an opportunity lost if they can't push one in. Because I would expect that Ito is only going to get tougher along the way. Here's the first pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Count is quickly 0-1. I've got an interesting stat for you. Our friend Gracie Lynn, who is, I don't want to say this and be insulting, but she sometimes has that statistical nerdness in her that we probably all do at our end here as well. I heard something today that you would probably be fascinated to hear, and I'm going to give you that in a moment. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count runs even to 1-1. I saw an interview with a Tampa Bay Rays prospect, and the Tampa Bay's Rays prospect pitches for the Durham Bulls. Paul, I think his last name was said Gavise or Javasi. And he says 95% of the time, if you throw a first pitch right down the middle, you're going to have a positive result. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-2. And the positive result is either a called strike, a swinging strike, a foul ball, or a ball put in play for an out. So that means that a middle fastball has only got a 5% chance of the hitter reaching base. I found that amazing, actually, to be honest with you. I know that it's a high rate, but I didn't realize it was that high of success for the pitchers. And our friend Titus has jumped in. And we welcome you to the stream tonight as well. Gracie Lynn says she takes the statistical nerdness as a big compliment. Yes, absolutely. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander delivers. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line. Check that, the left field line, and the count remains at 1-2 to Tomoya Mori. So anyways, that was interesting. Is that much of a percentage? So in the minor leagues, Tampa Bay has instructed their catchers to set up right down the middle until you get to 2 strikes. And at 2 strikes, all bets are off. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as Mori waits here on the offering from the right-hander Ito. He checks the runner and now delivers. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded over to the right side, fielded neatly by the first baseman Nomura, and he's going to step on the bag, and that is going to do it as Mori is going to ground out to first for the 3rd out of the inning. Well, the Buffaloes, they threaten in the inning, but they don't score. There was no runs, there was a hit, no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. Your score as we are now through 1 complete. It is the Fighters nothing and the Buffaloes nothing. Stick around, everybody. The top of the second is just around the corner, and we appreciate you guys, each and every one of you, for being here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a few, right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the second inning. We appreciate you guys for jumping in here with us tonight on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We're talking about success on first pitch fastballs right down the middle. I'll carry on that conversation in just a couple moments, and I'll tell you some of the experiments that we think of or we have kind of done with the kids that we work with. It is the middle part of the batting order for the Fighters. As Yuki Nomura steps up and he swings at the first pitch, it is a fastball hammered down the left field line. It's going to be extra bases. Into the corner it goes, and he is going to cruise into second base with a leadoff double here to start the second inning. So Nomura aboard on the first pitch that he sees. Now I'm going to take a look at that to see if that was middle. I might argue that it was, as he has turned on that pitch. That'll bring up the third baseman in Kentaro Kiyomiya. So we have a little game with our pitching machine and with the kids that come in through our program. I always at the end of the night like to play a little game with the kids. Not only is it a game, but it also is a reward system where we play for points. And the points would be a line drive up the middle, get you 5 points. A ground ball up the middle is going to get you 4. 3 points if it's a line drive or a ground ball that reaches a certain point of the cage. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that misses upstairs to Kentaro Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya hitting .245 with a couple of homers and 10 RBIs. Anyways, the rest of the scoring system, if it's a fly ball or a foul ball that leaves the area of the batter's box, gets you a couple, and foul tips and pop-ups in the area get you a point, and 0 for nothing. So keeping that in mind, the first pitch that the hitters will see out of the machine, they typically don't do very well. And most of the balls are set center, middle. As that fastball misses down and the count's 2-0. So basically that's what we try to do, is we try to be able to do that with the kids. And so by the time they get to see their third or fourth or fifth pitch out of the machine, then they start to do better at timing it up. And so the big thing is how are you able to step in the batter's box with an 0-0 count and be ready to hit? Because if the pitcher can throw you a fastball right down the middle and you're ready to hit, you potentially can be on time or even better. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. As there is a breaking ball that is waved at and missed, and the count is now 2-1 to Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya hitting at .245, as we said on the year, with a couple of homers and 10 RBIs. He has been dropped down in the batting order. Normally, we saw the Fighters early in the year a few times. He was normally in the 3-hole. I do give the credit to the Japanese managers. They like to move their players around if they're not hitting very well. Unlike in North America, they'll let a guy hit his way out of the slump. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven into left center field. It's going to get down. It's going to get all the way to the wall. And the Fighters are going to draw first blood. Rounding third and heading home is Nomura. As Kiyomiya has traded places with him, it's an RBI double. And the Fighters have taken an early 1-0 lead here. Back-to-back doubles from Nomura and Kiyomiya. That is going to bring up the right fielder in Chusei Manami. Well, for Manami, he's hitting .205 on the season, 6 homers and 14 runs driven in. He is a big part of the offense that really hasn't got it going quite yet here for the Fighters. They're going to really need to rely on him as the season goes along. I really like Manami in so many different ways. I like his arm. I like the way that he plays defense. I like his physical build. I don't know if I like the way that he goes into these prolonged, what I would call slumps, or where you just can't seem to get into these funks where you can't get out of it. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Probably my only complaint about the 25-year-old. But he has all the tools to be a pretty good darn player. And at 25 years old, usually you're on your way up. You've kind of broken out of that prospect status. He has had a couple of good years in the last couple of seasons. His numbers have been better, but still got a long way to go. There's a breaking ball that's up in the air. He drives this one in the right center field. This is going to get down, and it's going to get all the way to the ball. That's going to be extra bases. Coming in to score is Kiyomiya, and Manami has got himself a double. So we got back-to-back-to-back doubles here to start the second inning. As Manami has cashed in Kiyomiya with the second run. And the Fighters have something brewing here still, and it's going to bring Shu Yamagata to the plate. Well, for Yamagata, he's hitting .308 on the season. The rookie here has had his opportunity. He doesn't have anything on his slash line yet. He was the 5th pick, or the draft pick number 5 in the 2024 draft. Went to Waseda University. He was graduate school. He is just turned 23 years old. That was last week on May the 1st. So 4 for 13 to begin his NPB career. He does have a sacrifice bunt. So batting from the right side here as the right-hander Asuma ready to go as he works himself into the set position. He checks the runner Manami at second. And here comes the pitch. He squares the bunt, and a late square. He bunts it foul right back toward home plate. So no balls and 1 strike to Yamagata. So Fighters pulling out all kinds of little stops here. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, I think nerd going back to earlier is the perfect word. I mean, anyone who uses AI to simulate fictional sport tournament match by match has to be a nerd. Yeah, there you go. No balls and 1 strike as the right-hander holds to the set, now delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted foul down the right field line, and the count is now 0-2 to Yamagata. He said 184 games. I think you were in and around the 100 mark. Friend Redbeard breaks in the house, says, let's go Buffaloes. No sign of Gunner yet there, Redbeard. We'll keep our eyes open for him. Either that or look in the trees and see what's dangling around. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. We had a pretty interesting chat last night. Especially some nights. Some nights we get the gamblers that come in, and it becomes a different vibe in the chat. Some nights people just come in and talk baseball, and some nights people want to come in and talk about the dollars that they put down on the game, and some nights it becomes other things. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul over on the first base side. Count is 1-2, and all people are welcome. It just becomes a little bit where we had the domination of the chat was going in one direction. Somebody was claiming to put $500 down on a game. There's a lot of things. I remember when Shotgun Shell would sit in here, he says there's 2 things about gamblers. There's liars and there's losers. Not too many people are honest about their stuff. Here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on, grounded over the right side. Oh, and a good piece of hitting there by Yamagata. He's going to advance the runner over to third. It's a ground out 4-3. He gets himself a quality at bat and a bunch of high fives as he gets back to the dugout. That is going to bring up the shortstop in Tatsumi Mizuno. Gracie Lynn says it wasn't bad. You know what? It wasn't actually all that bad. It was annoying more than anything. It was just dominating the chat in telling us about how he put money down and wanted a 3.5. Was it 3.5? I think the run total was, and I think it was sitting at 3-1 last night at some point, or was it 2-1? I can't remember. Whatever the score was, just kept whining on and on and on and on about it. So finally, we had enough, or at least Redbeard did. As the first pitch is on the way, there is a breaking ball ticket for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Haven't really added any mods into the chat. I got our good friend Redbeard, pops in sometimes. Might as well add Gracie Lynn at some point if she wants to be one. I'll give you a wrench. Just have to take the time to do it. It saves me having to go into zap people. So no balls and 1 strike to Mizuno as he is hitting .241. He's got a couple of homers and 11 RBIs. As The right-hander delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Mizuno. Kind of like these uniforms that the Buffaloes are sporting. As we said, it's the black and gold with the navy blue sleeves. I was unsure if it was navy blue or not, but as we get closer, it's black and gold. The kanji on the back, as is the team name across the front. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. As Azuma delivers a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. I would expect this game not to be fast moving or quick moving. Just get the feeling tonight it's going to be one of those ones. Got an afternoon game. You got not much going on. That was something else I was curious too. I would be interested to know what the weekend and holiday length of the games would be versus the weeknight games in Japan. Just seems when we do a weeknight game, they go far quicker. When you do the weekend games, those ones take a little bit longer. There's a fastball swung on it, is grounded up the middle into center field for a base hit. And that is going to get the runner Manami home from third. So an RBI single here for Mizuno. And that crooked number that the Fighters have put on the board has just gotten a little bit bigger as they've taken a 3-0 lead here. And that is going to bring up the former Buffalo in the catcher, the form of catcher Tori Fushimi. Gracie says she doesn't mind unless somebody gets really crazy. Yeah, absolutely. It just got to the point of being a bit annoying. We like people who come in to listen. We like people to come in to chat. We like people to engage. That's the way it goes sometimes. Here comes the pitch from Azuma, but instead he fires over to first base. Diving back easily in time as the runner Mizuno. Gracie Lynn says, when you look at the length of the stream times, not all that different weekend to weeknight, 20 minutes maybe. 20 minutes could be actually a long time because I think they say, I haven't looked at it this year, but usually about 3 hours and 6 minutes as a breaking ball is taken for a call and strike. Fushimi actually had squared to bunt on that. And he pulled back and took the strike. It's no balls and 2 strikes here to the catcher of the Fighters. Runner at first, Mizuno. There is 1 gone here in the inning. As Fushimi batting here against Azuma. Last year, I think it was 3 hours and 6 minutes was the average 9-inning game in the NPB. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball that is waved out and missed, and the count is going to retire him for the 3rd strike. I don't think he got a piece of that, did he? Well, maybe they did get a piece of it. I want to get a replay of that one there because I didn't think Fushimi got it. I think it looked like it hit the dirt. Well, 0-2 it remains here. As the right-hander ready to go again, he works himself to the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into left field. This is going to get down for a base hit. Rounding second and heading to third, the throw comes in and it's going to be late. As sliding in safely is Mizuno, and that's going to put runners on the corners with 1 gone. And the Buffaloes, pitcher Azuma here, seemingly can't get himself out of this jam. Gracie Lynn says, Redbeard says, just enjoy listening to the game, love to relax. Gracie says, find the betting stuff to be interesting. It baffles how many people like to talk about their bets. As we have the pitching coaches come out to the mound to talk to Azuma here. A little stop in the action. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I don't know if I win money. I don't know if I necessarily like to brag about it. If I lose money, I don't know if I necessarily like everybody to know about it. Every once in a while, I go through phases where I'll buy lottery tickets. And it looks like that's going to be the end of the night for Azuma. That is a quick night and a quick hook here as his night's come to an end. So the Buffaloes going to the bullpen here in the 2nd inning. as he is going to run off the field. His teammates give him a pat on the back as he's come off the backside here. We're going to get the comments. We're going to get the pitching change here. 35 pitches. He faced 9 batters, allowed 5 hits and 3 runs so far. The 2 runners aboard are his responsibility. But going to the bullpen here are the Buffaloes in this one. We'll get that change for you in just a moment. Hang tight, everybody. We'll come back and chat with the chat in just a few. We appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this. You are listening to live NPB commentary with Last Raps Baseball. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Japan Baseball Report, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well. It is NPB Japan Baseball Report. Stay up to date with all the other followers who are a fan of the Japanese game. Welcome back, everybody. The pitching change, it is going to be Kento Kawase, who is coming in relief here for Kohei Uzuma. So he is going to be taking over here. So Kento Kawase on in. And that is a quick hook here for Uzuma as he has gone in the second inning. So runners are at the corners as he's inherited Mizuno, the runner at third, Fushimi, the runner at first. It's the top of the order in Kengo Yoshida coming to the plate. Yoshida walked in the first inning, but he was erased in a double play. The first pitch on the way, he squares to bunt, and he takes a fastball upstairs for a ball. And the count is quickly 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Gracie Lynn said, like, if you win big and you'd broadcast it out there on your phone, would be blowing up with scam callers getting a piece of the action. Yeah, 100%. Right now, you got the infield in. They're kind of halfway. They're not really in double play depth, but they're halfway in the middle. First base and third base are in at the corners. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. So that's not quite what the Buffaloes had in mind. Yeah, some people like to show off their money. It's interesting. I've been in situations where people will come out and they pull out the money and they're flashing it. I've never been a flash. I always like to try to keep it. Even when you go in to pay for stuff, if I happen to have a wad of money in my wallet, I don't like pulling it out so people can see that it's pretty thick. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. There's a way you can do it discreetly. Gracie Lynn says, you can't even buy lottery tickets in Alabama. If you want to play the Mega Millions or Powerball, they have to drive to either Tennessee, Georgia, or Florida, or Mississippi to get a ticket for the big jackpot. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Yoshida. And you know when the jackpots are big because the interstates are all going in one direction. There they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Yoshida. Again, the right-hander leans in, gets the sign from his catcher, Wakatsuki, works himself to the belt. The 2-1 forthcoming, and it's a breaking ball that is down and swung on and missed by Yoshida, and the count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. He was way out in front of that one, was the left fielder of the Fighters. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. A time has been called here. I don't know I think it might be the catcher that needed a couple of moments. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. First place game between the Buffaloes and the Fighters. 2-game lead for the Buffaloes as they sit perched atop the Pacific League. I was looking at the number of games that we have here. I believe that this is game 45 of our season. That includes the World Baseball Classic qualifiers, the exhibition games. There's a fastball swung on, grounded to short. They go to second for 1, back to first. And that's going to be an inning-ending double play, and that's exactly what the Buffaloes need to get out of the jam. Goes as a 6-4-3 variety. It retires Fushimi at second for the second out, and the third out is Yoshida at first. But there's been damage done, and lots of it here in the inning. There was 3 runs in the inning on the benefit of 5 hits. No errors and 2 left aboard. The Fighters have now jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Buffaloes coming to bat in their half of the second. Let's see how they respond when we come back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for being here. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Your score as we move to the bottom half of inning number 2. It is 3-0 for the Fighters. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 2. It'll be Kai Nakagawa, Kataro Kobayashi, and Jordan Diaz, the 6, 7, and 8 hitter. Our friend Gracie said, like the vibe of the music on the channel. It's the cross between country and Hawaiian. We got a few new pieces that we've been slowly filtering in. I got more to come as the breaking ball misses upstairs. The count is 1-0. Nakagawa hitting .269 on the year, 3 homers and 20 RBIs, having a much better season than he did last year. As the right-hander Ito ready to go as he kicks and he delivers. There's a fastball that misses up. This is going to be a really difficult challenge here for the Buffaloes to have to get to Ito. Ito has been exceptionally strong, not just this season, but just in general. A 3-0 lead for him could be as good as gold. As the 2-0 pitch is on the way, there's a fastball swung on it, is lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats behind home plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. If you ever go back, and I don't even know, I don't know if I think I've kept them up, but if you go back and listen to some of the games that we called, going back, we first started doing this, we did it in 2020. You'd get a good laugh out of how the games were called and how we had some of the stuff. Really didn't know what we were doing. Still don't know if I know what I'm doing in terms of production or anything else. As that fastball swung on and fouled away. Have a lot of fun with it, creating the little in-between inning stuff, and certainly with the help of Steve Rademacher and Matt Hollis over the last few years, running some different things. Our buddy Eric also shooting a little 30-second vibe for us. Friend of our channel, and even ourselves adding some more things recently. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count now 3 balls and 2 strikes to Nakagawa. As I say, we don't necessarily always know what we're doing over here. I'd like to tell you we do. In terms of the production piece, as the 3-2 pitch coming here from the right-hander Ito, he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted in the air into right field. Moving over underneath it is Manami, and he's going to make the catch. Nakagawa is going to be retired for the first out of the inning. 1 gone, and that'll bring up the shortstop and Kataro Kobayashi. So Kobayashi coming to the plate. He's hitting .289 on the year, a couple homers and 7 RBIs. He spent a little bit of time in the hospital about, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks ago. They said that he's got some stress or some strain in his lower back. There was a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. So maybe a stress fracture they were thinking about. He's had some lower back pain. Never a good sign for the 23-year-old. Both he and Kenya Wakatsuki will be up in a couple of more at-bats. They've definitely changed their approach in their lower half at the plate. He lifts up his leg. He's really slow to get her down as he hits that ball, and it is lined right to the third baseman. Kentaro Kiyomiya makes a great catch as he goes to the ground. And that is going to retire Kobayashi. Kobayashi's gone for the second out of the inning. The ball was hit right on the screws. Well, I got to say, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, Kentaro, because it's been working for him this year. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Jordan Diaz. As the right-hander Ito kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on it, grounded up the middle, ranging into shallow center field, making the play as he moves to his right, Yamagata, and he throws to first, and Diaz is going to be gone. It's a ground out 4-3 for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Buffaloes as they go quietly and in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 2 complete. Your score is the Fighters 3 and the Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll come back and chat with the chat when we return right after this. We appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Let's play another one of our little videos with a pitcher or a player who's not in tonight's game. Got all these little fighter videos, and nobody's playing here tonight. Pretty different is in the lineup. Here we go. We'll break back after this. Little Drew Verhagen spot. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters to come to bat to face the reliever Kawase, who delivers a first pitch strike to Go Matsumoto. Matsumoto 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded into a double play his first time up. Batting from the right side here, his average has slipped to 197, and there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-2. Looked like the right-hander quick pitched Matsumoto, and he wasn't ready for that one. Like he was having to adjust himself quick. Gracie Lynn says she likes the quality production. I don't know about that, but we're thinking about doing a whole theme of things, saying as the 0-2 pitch is on the way, fastball misses upstairs, the count goes to 1-2, that we're a bunch of amateurs trying to do things professionally. And you'd rather watch that than a bunch of professionals who do things amateurishly. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down. The count goes to 2-2. So that's the fun that we have in putting these little broadcasts together. And YouTube is our platform for that. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball swung on it. Is lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2. Also said about our background. Yeah, for the NPB game, this is what we've been using this year as the background color. We put the pink in with the black in the background and moved it in, and seems to be a little bit more relaxing, certainly with the on-air microphone in the middle. As the 2-2 on the way, it's a breaking ball swung on it. It's popped up over on the right side. It's playable. Underneath it is the second baseman, Oda, and he's there to make the catch, and that is going to retire Matsumoto for the first out of the inning. So one fighter up and one fighter down, and that's going to bring up the Franmil Reyes. Friend Brett Beard says Neftali Soto was a Red at one time. He absolutely was. He really settled in Japan. He spent a long time with the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars, and then he's in his second year now as there's a first pitch fastball delivered for a called strike. And it counts 0-1 to Reyes. Reyes 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out his first time up. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded over to the third base side, fielded neatly. Count is 0-2. Gracie Lynn said the big thing was the other one hurt the eyes because it was so bright, and the rest of the house was so dark. Here's the offering from the right-hander who delivers it as a split-finger pitch swung on it. It's hit into deep short. Fielding it on the outfield green grass or the green turf was Kirby-Ashi, and he throws to first, and they're going to retire. Reyes goes as a ground out 6-3. Oh, they really had him played deep. It's kind of funny, actually, how deep they had him played, but a nice play there by Kirby-Ashi. Able to get around the ball, and he shows off his cannon arm across the infield. So 2 gone. It'll bring up the first baseman in Yuki Nomura. Well, for Nomura, as he comes to bat here, takes a breaking ball outside. He got the party started in the second inning with a leadoff double. It was the first of 3 consecutive doubles in the inning. As there is a split finger that is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Try to incorporate the pink, and the pink for me in this is there's a fastball missing up and away. It's got to do with the cherry blossoms more so than anything else. I like the pink cherry blossoms and, of course, the darkness of the background. I try to look at other thumbs as there's a breaking ball missing inside. The count goes to 2-2, and I like to see what are the positives, what are the negatives. I don't know if I like our one with the mountain in the background. We may change it after the interleague player for the second half of the season. It's not one of my favorites. We've used the Torii Gate in the past. We've also used some of the cherry blossom trees. So I'll have to put some thought into what we're going to change that to. It's 3-2 here to Nomura. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander against the right-hander. As he kicks and delivers, does Kwase. It's a fastball that misses down, and it's going to be a 2-out walk issued to the first baseman of the Fighters. So Nomura aboard on a base on balls. That's going to bring Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Gracie Lynn says, if you had a chance to do play-by-play for an MLB team, would you take it? Honestly speaking, it really depends on a lot of things. First of all, there's 30 big league teams, so they got radio for 30, and then they got television for 30. And I'd have to really think about that. There's a fastball, take it for a called strike. The count's 0-1. Some people would jump right at it. I have to say, I don't know if I really like some of the production on some of the games that we witness and we see. Not sure I really enjoy that in particular, but we'll have to wait and see. So here comes the 0-1 offering to Kiyomiya as he kicks and delivers, and Kwase delivers a fastball that catches the inside corner, and the count goes to 0-2. Reality of it is that we're just having a lot of fun doing it here. I remember years ago that the Rolling Stones used to roll into Toronto, and they used to play these little clubs that would just show up and all of a sudden play a night before a big gig. A number of bands used to do that. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2. So here you are at some nobody pub, and the next thing you know, you got the Rolling Stones roll in, and they're playing a set. Of course, that was pre-cell phones where a lot of people would have it. Come in, be playing their music, and you just happen to be the lucky guy sitting in a bar in Hyde Park, and the next thing you know, you got Mick Jagger in front of you. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball that misses down, and I'm certainly not comparing myself to Mick Jagger, but we have a lot of fun in doing this here, and I think it was probably more fun in doing it than if you had to do it for a particular club, I will say this, you get more versed or more well-versed on the players of the team. Sometimes we're watching games and we don't watch the fighters for, 2 or 3 weeks at a stretch. And then the next thing you know is you get to see them. They're a different team in some ways. When you're calling the same team all the time, you get more familiar. Fastball swung on it. It's fouled away. It's going to hit the netting down the third base line. The count remains at 2-2. Also, sometimes like to do 2 or 3 games in a row from the same team. The reason we didn't do the base stars again tonight was because the weather. Weather in Tokyo with 2 games that were washed out. Well, actually, they're playing in the dome against the Dragons, but we weren't really sure if that was going to be a game that we would like to be able to do. We haven't done a lot of Pacific League stuff this year. Not as much as we'd like. Fastball swung on it, is lifted down the left field line. That remains at 2-2 to Kiyomiya. Or last year, we did probably 85% of our games were from the Pacific League, and only about 15% in the Central. We said this year we want to do more Central League games. And the reason for that, well, I kind of like the pitchers hitting, and I like the old school familiarity of that type of baseball. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul. And the Pacific League, certainly you've got some more teams like Hiroshima and Hanshin and Murray Giants and the Yakult Swallows who have been around for a long time. It is an older league and certainly older teams. As Gracie Lynch says, she likes the National League style of play. I like it too. I kind of miss the hitters. I would rather see pitchers hit than hitters throw. There's a breaking ball swung on, his grounded softly over to first. Fielding it neatly is the first baseman for the Buffaloes, Diaz, and he's going to apply the tag to Kiyomiya, and that is going to do it for here as they ground out to 3 to end the inning. Well, there was no runs, no hits, no errors. There was a runner left the board. We're now moving to the bottom of the third inning. Your score is the Fighters 3 and the Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back here in just a little bit with all the action. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the batting order to come to bat for the Buffaloes here in inning number 3. That means Kenya Wakatsuki, the top of the order in Taishi Haruka and Ryoma Nishikawa, as they will take on Hiromi Ito here for his 3rd inning of work. But I guess back to the original question about which team that you would like to do. To be honest with you, it really wouldn't make any difference. I'm not partial. I mean, obviously some teams, baseball is baseball. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count is 0-1. It would come to living area. It would come to places. I probably would say this. I don't think I'd ever want to live in New York City. Been there one time, and I think once is enough. You got to go there to see it, experience it, but it's not the place I would want to be. There's a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul into down the right field line, and the count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Certainly when you call the games or you talk about stuff that's here, probably certain areas of the country, depending on where it be, as there was a fastball taken for a called third strike. Oh, Wakatsuki watched that one go by. He's gone for out number one, and that'll bring up the top of the order in Taishi Haruka. Right now, in terms of teams in Major League Baseball, who would I like to see play? The Tigers happen to be playing good baseball right now, and obviously I'm partial towards Detroit, having grown up a Tiger fan. But there are some teams that are playing good ball, and if you have to make the predictions on that, I remember watching the Fighters a couple of years ago as the breaking ball misses up to Haruka, and it was hard to watch the Fighters. The Fighters would make too many errors. They wouldn't hit their cuts. It was a tough situation to have to watch that team. There was a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count's 1-1 to Haruka. But I got to give Shinjo a lot of credit. Last year, he has really turned the team around. And I would say last year with them making the playoffs, they were probably a year ahead of the curve. I would have thought this year would have been their year. There's a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul over on the first base side. The count's 1-2. And because they're ahead of the curve, I would think that they're going to challenge for first place this year. Gracie Lynn says her problem is that she doesn't like cities, living in Birmingham. Yeah, it's about the size of the city that I grew up in, a couple $100,000. It's not that big. It's big enough, but not too big. Fastball misses outside, and the count is 2-2. Even where I live now, got a body of water that separates me from a major center. If I want to go across, I just take the ferry. If I don't want to go across, I just stay where I'm at. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball misses outside. It's now 3-2 to Haruka. Haruka's 1 for 1 tonight. He's singled and stolen a base. He is off to an absolute flying start here this season for the Buffaloes. The former Murray Giant is emerging as a impact bat here for the Buffaloes. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, and it catches the home plate umpire flush. As he takes his mask off and checks to see if everything is all right. The chiclets are in place. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it remains to Haruka. We're in the bottom of the third inning. 1 gone, full count here. And the pitch on the way from Ito. Breaking ball swung on, grounded to the right side. Fielded neatly by the second baseman Yamagata. Throws to first, and Haruka is gone on a ground out 4-3. It's the second out of the inning, and it's going to leave it all up to Ryoma Nishikawa. Well, if you're keeping along with us at home, that's 8 in a row retired now here by the starter Ito. Give up a single and hit a batter to start the ball game, and it's been all outs after that. So Nishikawa hitting .302 on the season. He had himself an absolute tragic exhibition season. There was talk about maybe him getting the start on the farm, and there was a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. But when the lights came on, beginning of the regular season, he caught fire. He was hot, and he hasn't looked back. That's what the exhibition season for. It means nothing. Here's the 0-1. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. I often also find it fascinating on how our stream gets pushed out or how it doesn't get pushed out. We get people that come from all sorts of different places around the world who do listen in, whether they listen live or on delay. A lot of delayed listeners as well. Fastball swung on it is going to be lifted into the seats down the third base line. The count remains at 0-2. We get people from the UK, from London, England, from all over the place. From France, come in and listen to our streams. So no balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander delivers. Split finger pitch swung on it is golfed into left field. Coming in and moving over to his right to make the catch is the left fielder Yoshida, and that is going to do it as Nishikawa has gone for the third out of the inning. 9 in a row retired by Ito. And no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We are now through 3 complete. Your score is the Fighters 3, the Buffaloes no score. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for listening in with us on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters to come to bat here to start the top of the fourth inning as the middle three frames are upon us. Chusei Minami, Shu Yamagata, and Tatsumi Mizuno will be facing the right-hander Kaito Kawase, who is beginning his third inning of relief. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Came on in the second inning to replace the starter Kohei Azuma. Got touched up for 3 runs. There's a breaking ball missing down and away, and the count goes even at 1-1. My friend Gracie Lynn says, I hate it when people judge players on things like the preseason. Yeah, I remember the preseason used to be different back in the day when the pitchers would report. They would be early in the spring season. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-1. They'd be working on their fastball command and control. They'd be working on being able to go side to side. And now pitchers report a little differently. And now so many more pitches that are being thrown. As there's a fastball swung on a tap foul by Minami. Like, in other words, back in the day when you used to have to, when pitchers would go 7, 8, 9 innings, they'd be encouraged not to show everything the first time through the order. Like, in other words, you might get fastballs working side to side, establish a zone, throw your changeup. Next time through the order, you roll out a breaking ball. And maybe either it's a split finger or a slider, as there's a fastball drilled into deep right field. Moving back to the edge of the warning track is Sugimoto, and he's going to haul that one in right field. And Minami's going to be gone for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the second baseman in Shu Yamagata. Now the pitchers come and they just empty the tank. They just start getting everything going. Gracie says, I think my Costa Rica viewership doesn't come through when they're there because you're usually using a VPN. Yeah, that would probably be the case. Normally we don't get that statistical evidence. There's a fastball that misses outside. We do get people that do listen from all over the world, especially on our podcast. I haven't released it. It's been 3 weeks since I did the podcast. I was sick. I was out of town. Came back and just been, I don't say overwhelmed, but just got a lot of work on my plate. Fastball misses up and the count's 2-0. A day off today, and we're going to take advantage of, didn't do much of anything. There was a fastball swung on, grounded over to short. Fielded neatly by the shortstop Kirbiashi, who throws to first, and Yamagata's gone on a ground out 6-3 for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it all up to the shortstop Mizuno. Well, Mizuno is 1 for 1 tonight. He drove in the third run of the ball game for the Fighters with a single of his own there in the second inning. So he steps in here ready to face the right-hander Kawase, who delivers a breaking ball that is lifted foul, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Mizuno batting from the left side here against the right-hander. With that knock, he has raised his season average up to 250. 20 for 80 on the year. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. The count is 0-2. There was a minor league report I was listening to. Was the Detroit Tigers have a group that covers games. I think they're in West Michigan. I think that's their high A team. So there's a fastball that misses down. And one of the fellows who is either in news or on the radio, and he says about baseball versus calling hockey or basketball. Hockey and basketball, it's nonstop chatter. Where here, when we talk, we can let the game pause. He says you got to let the game breathe at times. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on it, is bounced in front of the plate, and it gets away from the catcher. It goes all the way to the backstop. And Mizuno is going to reach on a strikeout at a wild pitch. So he is going to get the first base in an unconventional way here. That ball was probably bounced up to the plate a good solid 2-3 feet in front of where the catcher was, and it went right over the top of Wakatsuki. He absolutely had zero chance. So strikeout and a wild pitch, and advancing over to first as Mizuno. That's going to bring up the catcher and Tori Fushimi. And I also find it weird too, like with the algorithm, like sometimes I get a notification that when we're coming on the air, half hour out, not tonight, breaking ball, take it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I don't understand YouTube, how it will put out stuff and not put out stuff. And that would have been our piece. Do you get the notification that we're live? Are we not live? We set up our stream information probably about 3 to 4 hours before game time. As the 0-1 is ready to come here. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses outside. Good stop by Wakatsuki. And the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As I said before, you certainly get, the different audiences on different nights. It's a rare early game in Japan. A lot of people may or may not know. As it's 1 ball and 1 strike here, the right-hander fires over to first, and diving back safely is the runner Mizuno. Mizuno moves pretty good, but he doesn't have any stolen bases on the year. They are keeping an eye on him, as he looks like he's itching ready to run. And the right-hander looks at the runner over at first, and he works himself to the belt. And here's the 1-1. Fastball swung on and hammered foul just past the first base dugout. The count goes to 1-2 on Fushimi. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And on top of us calling the games, or at least giving the live reports and live updates, when you think about, as we were talking about, how you let the game breathe, there isn't always the constant chatter. There goes the runner. It's a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. And Fushimi's gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Fighters in their half of the 4th. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors. There was a runner left aboard. It's going to be hard for the Buffaloes to be able to get themselves back in it if you keep giving up too many extra outs. A great pitching performance there by Kawase. I wonder if his night's going to be done the way that he's getting 5-5s as he comes off the field. We'll be back in just a couple moments. It is a 3-0 scoreline for the Fighters. We are moving to the bottom of the 4th inning. We appreciate you guys for jumping in here with us tonight on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Here's another one. Well, at least this one here, Kenny Wakatsuki, he's in the lineup. All the rest of our players tonight are not, or they're hurt. We'll be right back in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be Ryo Oda, Yataro Sugimoto, and Tomoya Mori to come to bat here to face the right-hander Hiromi Ito here in inning number 4. As we had mentioned, 9 in a row retired here by the Fighters right-hander. 45 pitches through the first 3. As the first pitch fastball is swung on and lifted down the right field line, and the count is quickly 0-1. Gracie Lynn says, just a heads up, if I stop talking or disappear, it's because I'm watching in bed and might doze off for the night. Yeah, no worries. A way of putting people to sleep sometimes. So here comes the 0-1 offering. It is a fastball that just misses outside, and the count goes to 1-1 on Oda. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Oda's had himself a really strong year. We're talking a little bit about the black hole at second base for the Buffaloes, and Oda may be the one to have solved it. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way, there's a fastball swung on. Grounded to short. Mizuno fields it. He fires to first, and that's going to retire Oda. A ground out 6-3. Just to finish off with Oda, as he's been swinging the bat really well. They've had a number of players. Ryo Adachi retired. They had Marwin Gonzalez. He is no longer playing in the NPB. I believe he has retired or he's gone to the Mexican League. Just a number of players over time that were rotating through that position, but it looks like that maybe Oda is going to get a chance to hold it down. So Sugimoto here, coming to bat. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He flew to center his first time up. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep center field. Moving back on it onto the warning track and making the catch is Matsumoto. That's the second time tonight that Sugimoto has drilled the ball to the warning track. The second time that Matsumoto has been able to haul it in. He's going to retire Sugimoto for the second out. Gracie Lynn says, listening to radio-style sporting events is quite relaxing. Yeah, we had a couple people in the stream the other night from Rhode Island that were listening in, and they said they were sitting on their porch listening, having a couple of beers, just listening to the call of the game, and that's pretty cool too. Our friend God is great back in the house here, and he says, I'm just listening in the background. Titus has probably got his feet up and got a couple of hot sake going on with that. Here comes the pitch. There's a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. I told you, I said he's drinking the sake, and there you go. 100%. So no balls and 1 strike as the pitch is a fastball swung on. It is lined into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit, and it gets by Manami all the way to the wall. And rounding second is Tomoya Mori, and he's digging for third. And he is going to reach that safely. So it looks like it's going to be a single and a 2-base error. Oh, there's some excitement showing up. We were talking earlier about the defense of the Fighters being that much better. As Mori had hit the single, and as the right fielder Manami came in to get it, I don't know why he just didn't drop to the knee. Ball got right underneath his glove all the way to the wall. It has given the Buffaloes a little bit of life. He absolutely scorched it. And I would say based on, well, actually that's probably our mistake. He was moving toward the foul line, so he wasn't going to be able to get in, potentially be able to get in front of it. He had to be able to try to get over to stop it, but lots of daylight under the glove of Manami. Wasn't able to get over that front side to be able to get to the ground. There's a fastball swung on. This is lined into center field for a base hit. And Kai Nakagawa's got himself an RBI single, and that is going to bring in the first run of the game. So that will be a 3-1 scoreline now. So Tomoya Mori crosses the plate. That could potentially come back to haunt the Fighters here. Very, very strange. So the single and the 2-base error as Mori goes all the way around to third, and the next pitch Nakagawa bangs him home with his 21st RBI of the year. Good swing there by Nakagawa. He stayed inside the ball and drilled it right up the middle. God is great says, only 3 bottles of sake today. That'll keep you warm, that's for sure. So Nakagawa getting his lead over at first. Got to keep your eye on him. He can run a little bit. Here's the pitch. It is a split finger pitch swung on and missed by Kobayashi. Count is 0-1. Kirby-Ashi 0 for 1 today. He lined out to the third baseman his first time up. Absolute P-Rod right to the glove of Kitaro Kiyomiya. As Ito throws over to first and diving back in time, Yawa. So no balls and 1 strike as Kirby-Ashi waits here on the offering from the right-hander. As they throw over to first and diving back in time is the runner Nakagawa. So no balls and 1 strike. Kirby-Ashi resting his bat on his shoulder and a little bit of rhythm going on here, waiting on the offering from the right-hander. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded foul over on the third base side. And the count goes to 0-2. Friend God is great, says it's freezing where he lives. And today he needs some warm sake as his wife never warms him up anymore. I don't want to referee that match, that's for sure. Here comes the 0-2 to Kirby-Ashi as the right-hander Ito holds to the set position. Kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on. This is lifted into right field. Moving back on it is Manami, and he's there to make the catch. You know, the ball is always like a magnet. You get somebody who makes an error, and the ball will come right back to you. But in that particular case, Manami puts it away for the third out of the inning. Well, they got a run back in the inning, did the Buffaloes, as there was 1 run on 2 hits. There was an error, and there was 1 runner left aboard. Your score as we move now to the top of the 5th inning. It is the Fighters 3 and the Buffaloes 1. We'll be back here in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. It is a 3-1 ball game for the Fighters as we're moving to the top of the 5th inning. It is the Fighters coming to bat when we return in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys for jumping in with us tonight here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is a 3-1 ball game here, as it looks like we have a pitching change, as it is going to be number 19 coming into the ball game for the Buffaloes, and that would be Taisuke Yamaoka. Oh, have we got a lot to talk about here with Yamaoka coming into the ball game. The 29-year-old was the center of attention for a lot of wrong reasons at the beginning of the year. It's going to be his 7th appearance of the year. He's got a 3.38 ERA. So Taisuke Yamaoka on in relief. And for those of you who weren't aware, he was gambling, online gambling, and maybe our friend, God is great, would chime in on this. Online gambling in Japan is not legal. He was of the center of attention as he was turned over to authorities in the Osaka region because he was gambling online. There was no gambling on sports on the baseball, at least what we were led to believe, as at least the reports had said. And that was a pretty good piece. So anyways, there were a number of players, including coaches, but he was the only one that was fingered, which was unfortunate, as everybody else had voluntarily come forward. There was a ground ball hit over to third. Haruka fields it, fires to first. It's going to be a ground out, 5-3. And Yoshida is in the books for the first out here in the 5th inning. But yeah, his name was dragged through the mud all over it. And he is back with the ball club here. But as I said, there was no betting on baseball from his standpoint. The last time there was a gambling issue in Japan, there were 3 Yomiuri Giants pitchers. And I want to say it was 2019, but it might have been 2017. Ended up getting banned for life as they were betting on their own games. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to second, fielded by Oda. He throws to first. We got 2 quick outs here on 2 pitches. So Yamaoka hardly breaking a sweat, and there's 2 in the books. Yeah, that's a good question. Gracie Lynn said, what if he wasn't betting on baseball, what was he betting on? Well, I mean, there's horse racing, there's soccer, there's all kinds of other stuff that could be going on, but just gambling, period, online, not in the rules. Let's see if he can get himself a steak dinner here. There's a fastball that just misses outside. The count is 1-0. What I refer to there is, they always used to say here in North America, if you could retire the side on 3 pitches, pitching coach would buy you a steak dinner. But the pitching coach is off the hook, so no Wagyu beef or Kobe beef for Yamaoka tonight as that split trigger pitch misses down. It's now 2-0. God is great said another player who is also up because he was having an affair on his wife. Well, I know that the Lions shortstop Sosuke Genda, there was problems with him as there's a fastball swung on and popped up over on the third base side. Moving over underneath it is Haruka. He's there to make the catch, and Reyes is going to be gone for the 3rd out of the inning. But I'm not sure if Genda is still the one as well. But that is it. That's going to be no runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board as the Fighters go in order. We're halfway through this one. 3-1 is the score. We'll be back in just a couple moments. Appreciate you for being here. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the last half of the 5th inning. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat for the Buffaloes. Diaz, Wakatsuki, and Haruka to face Ito here in the 5th. God is great was saying that he ruined himself for having affairs. Well, the problem is that I think Genda, a couple of things. I'm going to talk more about the Lions. So there's a fastball swung on, grounded up the middle, fielded by the second baseman, Yamagata, who throws to first, and Diaz is going to be retired on a ground out 4-3. So 1 pitch and 1 away. It'll bring up the catcher and Kenya Wakatsuki. It looks like it is Ryota Isobata has come into center. Matsumoto has moved over into left. As it looks like Kengo Yoshida's day is done. I'm pretty sure that Isobata will go into the top spot there in the batting order. So Isobata in, Yoshida out. There's a little bit of wheels in there in center. Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count's 0-1. The problem with the Lions has been character over the last few years. Tomoya Mori and keeping their star players. I don't want to just say character. That would be probably a miss. But being able to keep their star players. You think of Tomoya Mori, he had left. He went to the Buffaloes. But there was an incident in his last year with the Lions. I believe he punched a wall or punched his helmet. Ended up breaking his hand or a bone in his hand as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It counts 0-2. You got Hotaka Yamakawa, who was charged with, I don't know if it was rape or specifically what, as there was a breaking ball that misses outside. That was during I believe the preparations for the World Baseball Classic or after the Classic. I know when I was in to Kurazawa, it was basically like they took all of his pictures down. He led the league in home runs for the Lions. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side, fielded neatly by the second baseman, Yamagata, who throws out Wakatsuki. That's 2 in a row here. So he was charged with it. I think he was found not guilty. I think he was acquitted. But the Lions, in the court of public opinion, had traded him to the Fukuoka Ball Club, basically got him out of their camp. And then you think of the issues with Genda. Obviously, Genda had a high-profile marriage. I think his wife was, if I'm not mistaken, a television presenter. As the first pitch breaking ball is swung on, it is lifted into straightaway center field. Moving over underneath it is the center fielder, is Isobata, and he makes the catch. And that's going to do it as Haruka's gone for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it as that is out number 3. And there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board here in the 5th. We'll come back and talk a little bit more of that after our Japanese halftime. Your score as we move to the 6th inning: Fighters 3, Buffaloes 1. Appreciate you guys for being here with us. We're going to put the music on loop. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back after this. Hang tight, everybody. Appreciate you for being here. We got a score line at 3-1 for the Fighters. We'll be back in just a couple moments. That is our Japanese halftime, as we will be moving to the 6th inning when we return. got a scoreline at 3-1 for the Fighters over the Buffaloes. The sixth inning is just around the corner, as we like to call this our Japanese halftime. We will be back in just a little bit with all the action. Appreciate you guys for being here with us. Here is our friend Steve Rademacher. Be sure after the game to go check him out, as he's got all kinds of crazy, wild, and interesting things. But a little bit about Steve, and we'll be back after this.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. Our friend H is listening in here. He says he loves, or they love, Sosuke Genda. We were talking about the Lions before we went to our break here, and we were just saying about how the Lions, in a lot of ways, their team they can't keep their stars. And on top of that, then they've had some off-field shenanigans that have derailed some of their team as well. And you'd like to hope, or I'd like to hope and think, that with their pitching staff and the way that they have played this year, that maybe they've put some of those things in the rear, but there's still fractures, at least in that of the people that they have in place. Certainly Genda is the captain of the team. When that's your leader and that is what is being out into the press and into the media, it just brings attention to the team for all the wrong reasons. So hopefully the Lions will be able to get that sorted out, and hopefully that will stay out of the media. But certainly Sosuke Genda, unfortunately for him, has had some things that were brought upon him for maybe not the right reasons. We are going to be back in just a couple of moments, as we appreciate you guys for being here. It is a 3-1 game for the Fighters over the Buffaloes. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back after this. This is our friend Steve, and we'll be back with all the ball in just a minute.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be Sachiro Yamazaki taking over on the hill to start the sixth inning. The right-hander is going to be facing the heart of the batting order. It'll be Nomura, Kiyomiya, and Manami. And the first pitch breaking ball misses down to Nomura for ball one. The count's 1-0. Nomura has had reached base both times tonight. He doubled and scored a run in the second, and he had a walk and was stranded at first in the third. As the pitch is a breaking ball swung on it, it is popped up foul. It's going to reach the seats over on the first base side. The count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. God is great said it was the person who dropped the charges and received the money. Yeah, amazing how that is. Money talks, right? Here's some money. Take it and go away. Unfortunately, there is a huge trial going on with regards to Hockey Canada. I shouldn't say Hockey Canada. The players that were involved with Hockey Canada. A fastball swung on and fouled away. A number of the players were National Hockey League players. None of them are currently playing in the NHL. Some are playing in the KHL over in Russia. As basically the teams have walked away until this is completed. But there are 5 or 6 players that have been charged with a variety of assault charges. Big news across the country of Canada. There's a fastball swung on it, is grounded down the right field line into the corner. Sugimoto fields it. He comes up firing. It's going to hold the runner to a long single, as Nomura has got himself a leadoff single here. And that is going to bring up Kotaro Kiyomiya. Our friend Redbeard says, hopefully the Buffaloes can claw their way back into this one. don't know if they'll claw it as much as they'll try to hoof their way into this one. They're going to need a stampede on the base paths. They're going to need a couple of runs to get back into it. So runner at first is Nomura. Kiyomiya coming to the plate. Kiyomiya is 1 for 2 tonight. He has singled, driven in a run, scored a run, and he's grounded out. So batting from the left side here against the right-handed throwing Yamazaki, who holds at the belt, now delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Try to put this out once per game. There you go, Redbeard. Get a $10 discount if you want to check out the StreamYard's link. Mention our name. We get, I don't know, something to go with it eventually. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the right-hander Yamazaki leaning in, getting the sign from his catcher Wakatsuki, and he works himself to the belt. Here comes the pitch. As he kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball missing upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Fighters enjoying themselves a 2-1 lead here over the Buffaloes. We were talking a little earlier on. Our friend Jimmy sent us over a super sticker tonight. Oh, that's appreciated, Jimmy. You don't have to do that, but we appreciate you for your fine support. As there is a breaking ball that misses down and in, the count now goes to 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike it is. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Our friend Jimmy knows that we took care of Jerry a couple of weeks ago. Geraldine sounds like she's making some noise. Those of you may or may not know, we had a mouse for listening in, as there's a fastball swung on and missed. The count now goes full to 3-2. Have to go and make sure that the mice are not running around here. Either that or maybe the trap has decided to execute that one. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. As Kiyomiya waggling the bat, waiting on the full count pitch. Runner at first is Nomura. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Moving back is Sugimoto. He's looking up, and this one is going to be gone. A home run for Kiyomiya. His 3rd of the year. It's going to bring home Nomura in front of him. It's going to extend the Fighters' lead to 5-1. So as he rounds the bases, that ball was a rainmaker. Didn't necessarily get deep into the stands, only maybe a row or 2 deep. That ball had frost on it when it came down. Gracie Lynn said if we had a cat. Yeah, unfortunately, no. And the other unfortunate part is that we never used to have mice at all or any intruders. So 2 runs have come across. I'll tell you the story about the cat in a minute. Fastball misses inside to Manami, and it's 1-0. Manami is 1 ball and 2 strikes. We've been having to hit the hot button here a couple times. I don't want to sneeze in people's ears. Not sure why we're sneezing. If we're not catching another cold or flu or whatever else. There's a breaking ball waved at it, missed. Count is 1-1. There was a fella who used to live in the building who used to have a cat. Unfortunately for the fella, he passed away. He had cancer a couple of years ago. We live in an apartment. And not even a couple of years ago. It was last year. And so when he passed away, the cat went. Unfortunately, that is... the cat was the big deterrent. There's a fastball swung on it. Is lifted into right field. Moving over underneath it is Sugimoto. He's there. He makes the catch, and that's going to retire Manami for the first out of the inning. So he's gone. And that is going to retire Minami for the first out. So one gone here. That is going to bring Shu Yamagata to the plate. Yamagata is 0 for 2. The first pitch fastball is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. Yamagata batting .308 on the season when he entered tonight's game, but because he only had a few at-bats, his numbers have tumbled by about 40 points. He's hitting .267 now. He is grounded to second and grounded to short. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is 0-2. So I was talking about the cat, but the thing is that there's been a lot of growth and development in the area where I live, and there's been a couple of buildings that have been knocked down, and they've been rebuilding and retooling. And you know what happens when you knock a building down? That whatever is living in and around it gets displaced, and the next thing you know, it becomes your problem. As the 0-2 is on the way, there's a fastball swung on it. It is lifted into shallow center field. Coming in on it with room to make the catch is the center fielder Nakagawa. That's going to retire Yamagawa for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone. It'll bring up the shortstop in Tatsumi Mizuno. So 2 gone here. And Mizuno coming to the plate. He's reached base twice tonight. He singled and drove in a run his first time up, and then he struck out but reached on a wild pitch his last time up. So officially in the books as 1 for 2. As the pitch is a breaking ball that catches the inside corner, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And Gracie Lynn says if the cat was like hers, that they would bring you a little present. Here's the 0-1. It's a breaking ball. I'll take it for a called strike. The count now is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Mizuno. Right-hander leans in, gets the sign from his catcher as he works himself to the belt, and the pitch is on the way. Fastball misses way upstairs. That last pitch was at 96. Wakatsuki had to react quickly to walk the ladder to go and get it. Yamazaki has delivered 19 pitches here in the inning. He has served up a 2-run homer to Kiyomiya to extend the lead for the Fighters. There's a fastball swung on and fouled straight back, and the count remains at 1-2. That's what I thought in terms of Paulin. I thought it was Paulin before, and I don't know. We got everything kind of bottlenecked up and boxed up. So hopefully not the case, but you never know. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander again holds set. Now delivers. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Other thing is that we're able to, when the first mouse appeared, we had to go around and plug up any holes. There's a fastball that misses way upstairs, now 3-2. And holes, generally speaking, would be where the electric heat comes in. We have electric heat in the plumbing in the bathroom and in the kitchen. Anything there? Anything where maybe the cable wires might have come in on, and certainly any of that stuff. And most of that has been taken care of. As that fastball misses up and away, it's going to be ball 4 as Mizuno's going to give himself a 2-out walk. That's going to bring up the catcher in Tori Fushimi. Gracie Lynn says, yeah, being given a dead mouse. That is for certain. There's no doubt about it. It is a bit of a strange offering, but they want to bring you a present, that's for sure. To have, my aunt used to have a cat, and it used to be birds, dead birds. They get the bird and they bring the bird back, giving you a present. So here comes the first offering to Fushimi. It's a fastball swung on and lifted foul over on the first base side. Count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. A little bit of a quiet night tonight, as I said, after last night's game with all the people bouncing in. And then the next thing you know is nothing here tonight. You never know. Maybe there'll be a late arriving crowd, but just fun sitting back watching this one here. There's a breaking ball that's going to miss upstairs, and the count goes even to 1-1. I never know what to expect. I did a game earlier when it was the Cubs and the Diamondbacks, a game that ended up going absolutely crazy one afternoon. We had 1,600 viewers come through the stream. I'd never seen anything like it. But to me, there's no rhyme or reason why we have that many people come through. We had as many as 69 people, I think it was, or 63 people in the stream at one time. Pretty crazy. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's on its way. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul down the left field line. Count is now 1-2 to Fushimi. We were talking about the weather earlier on. Our weather over the next 10 days is supposed to be pretty good. In fact, it's going to be a potential for a all-time high tomorrow. They're calling for 73 degrees. And ironically, mostly cloudy. And then we get back into the low 60s for the next 2 weeks. So I can handle that kind of weather. It's excited for that. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball that is check swing fouled over on the first base side. Count remains at 1-2. Elliot Brunk in the house. He says, I should know this, but does the NPB have a universal DH? No, only the Pacific League has a designated hitter. The Central League uses the pitcher to hit. Welcome, Elliot. I don't know how long you've been listening, but thanks for stopping in. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander ready to go. Breaking ball misses upstairs. The count goes to 2-2. Cubs teams also, too, some of the major league teams, and I guess there's been a lot of issues across the United States with regards to television. I think, was it Bally went out of business, or some of them? So I know some people were kind of complaining that some of the games were blacked out, so they were trying to listen in different ways. Where's the good old days of the transistor radio? 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander Yamazaki ready to deliver again. He kicks and fires. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Tori Fushimi. So 2 runs on the board here in the 6th inning for the Fighters. The 2-run shot by Kiyomiya. Seems like it was an hour or 2 ago, as this is going to be the 30th pitch of the inning here for Yamazaki. As he kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. And then after a couple of fly ball outs, he's walked Mizuno and he's battling Fushimi here. It's 2-2. It's going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Gracie Lynn said, shouldn't affect the Cubs, though. I think somebody said in the chat when we were doing the game, it was a local broadcast blackout on the home game. But I don't know if that's truth or lore because I don't live in the Chicago area. The 2-2 on the way. Split finger swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2 to Fushimi. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, or maybe it was that particular game. I know back in the day, the Chicago Blackhawks, well, even for that matter, when I was a kid growing up, the Detroit Red Wings, the hockey team, was never broadcast on TV. You had to have some sort of pay-per-view. It was like on TV or something like that. And a lot of people didn't watch it because you were able to watch the Toronto Maple Leafs as there's a chopper hit over the head of the pitcher Yamazaki, fielded by Kobayashi. He throws to first. That is going to retire Fushimi on a ground out, 6-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. Come back and finish those thoughts in just a minute. 2 runs in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. Moving to the bottom of the 6th, the Fighters have extended their lead to 5-1 over the Buffaloes. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 6. It'll be Nishikawa, Oda, and Sugimoto to come to bat here against Ito to begin the 6th inning. Sachiro Yamazaki serving up a 2-run shot in that last half inning as the Fighters have extended their lead. It looked like the Fighters may have stalled, certainly in their offense, after that 3-run inning in the 2nd inning. They were held hitless over the next 3. There were was a walk and a strikeout and a wild pitch that allowed runners to reach base. But the single by Nomura and the home run by Kiyomiya was able to re-extend that lead. This time a 4-run lead here for the Fighters. So Buffaloes coming to bat here in the last half of the 6th. Nishikawa stepping in. He is officially 0 for 1 tonight. Hit by a pitch his first time up. Flew to left his other. There's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. Count as 0-1. Gracie Lynn said the one that Bally really had effects on are the Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Twins, Rangers, and Guardians. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball missing up and away, and the count's 1-1. I know Major League Baseball is talking about expansion, but really, they got to take care of some business. They got to take care of their TV contracts. That's number one. They got to take care of the 2 teams that are Major League teams playing in minor league parks. As the 1-1 is on the way, it's a breaking ball that is lifted foul down the left field line. Count is 1-2 to Nishikawa. So once they can take care of some of that nonsense, then they can start thinking about expansion. But I think they're trying to put the cart ahead of the horse right now. But when it's potentially $1 billion or more for an expansion fee, the other 30 owners are licking their chops, can't wait to get their hands on some of that extra money. There's a fastball swung on his line into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Nishikawa is aboard with a leadoff single here, and that is going to bring up the second baseman in Ryo Oda. Well, for Oda, he is 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and he's grounded out in his 2 trips. He has had an outstanding start to the 2025 campaign. Entered the fray hitting at .383. So the runner at first base adjusting his oven mitts. That would be Nishikawa. Only 1 stolen base on the year as the right-handed hitting Oda steps in. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. Our friend Gracie Lynn says she can't lie, thinking the Athletics and Rays playing in a minor league park fits well. Crowds are similar size. Doesn't look or sound terrible on TV anymore. Yeah, it is kind of apropos that those 2 teams would be there. The only other team that maybe should be thinking about moving into a minor league park is the Rockies, because they have not played very good baseball this year, as the 0-1 pitch is coming here to Oda. Breaking ball that misses down. Oda waves and misses at that. Now the count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Oda gets back in, sets himself, and ready to get the offering here from the right-hander Ito. As Ito works himself into the set position, here comes the pitch. Kicks and fires. Fastball misses outside. The count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. There are 2 other games currently going on across the NPB. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Hawks have a 10 spot on the board against the Lions. 10-0 that they lead it. They had scored 4 in the first, 2 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth. As that split finger pitch is swung on and missed, and Oda is in the books for the first out of the inning. He's gone, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Yataro Sugimoto. We take a look at the ball game, and it is Levon Boinello who is on the mound for the Hawks, and he's only allowed 1 hit into that bottom of the 7th inning. He's been absolutely electric tonight. The other game, the Bay Stars have a 3-0 lead on the Dragons. That's the only game going on in the Central. They got 1 in the 3rd and 2 in the 5th inning. There's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul down the left field line, and the count's 0-1 to Sugimoto. 3-8-0 for the Bay Stars, 0-3-0 for the Dragons in that one. One thing I noticed in last night's game is the Dragons cannot hit. Cannot hit well enough, but can't really hit. And they're kind of a ship without a rudder. There's a fastball swung on, is lifted down the right field line. This ball is going to be hauled in on the warning track by Manami as he fires it back in, and retreating back to the bases, Nishikawa. Nice job there by Manami. As he had a beat on the ball, he went into the right field corner and caught it for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it up to the designated hitter in Tomoya Mori. Well, for Mori, he's got a single and 2 trips, and then he ended up racing around the bases after Manami had made the error. In his last at bat, he had a single, and Manami was racing in, and the ball got under his glove. As they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Nishikawa. Gracie Lynn says, ironically, the Rockies fan base is too nice to their team. Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on out there. They do get a huge crowd. Pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down and away. I had a friend of mine, gal I used to go out with years ago, and she was living in that area. She was working for one of the airlines. And then she would, on her days off, she would work for the Rockies or work for the Denver Broncos. She would do different stuff while she was living out there. Just game day staff. There's a split finger pitch swung on it, is lifted into straightaway center field. Moving back is Isobata. He's going to make the catch running on the warning track. And Mori is going to be gone for the 3rd out of the inning. And that will do it. There was no runs, 1 hit, no errors. And there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the top of the 7th inning. Your score is the Fighters 5 and the Buffaloes 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the 7th when we return. The back 3 innings are upon us, and we appreciate you guys for hanging with us tonight. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. The back third of the ball game is upon us here, as coming to bat will be Ryo Isobata. And then it'll be Go Matsumoto and Franmil Reyes, the top 3 hitters in the batting order for the Fighters. Our friend Gracie Lynn has hung in with us. Well, you could critique our 7th inning stretch in the next half inning. I don't know if you've been around to hear it yet. So she's been hanging in here with us tonight. You got to give us the thumbs up, the thumbs down, or the question mark for the visual piece. We do have another pitching change here for the Buffaloes as the pitching parade continues. This is going to be number 20. It's going to be Shota Abe on in relief. He is going to be the 5th pitcher used tonight by the Orix Ball Club. So Shota Abe on in relief. And that is going to be, as we said, bringing the top of the order up to the plate in Isobata, Matsumoto, and Reyes. It's turned into a bit of a bullpen day. The starting pitcher, Azuma, was not very good tonight. He couldn't get out of the 2nd inning. But the bullpen of Kawase and Yamaoka had steadied the ship until the 2-run shot by Sachiro Yamazaki as the first pitch fastball is swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-1 to Isobata. Balls and 1 strike. Buffaloes looked like they were going to claw back, but that 2-run homer in the last inning off the bat of Kiyomiya has given the Fighters a 4-run cushion. There's a breaking ball swung on his ground. It's softly over to the right side. They're going to have to hurry to get Isobata, and it's not even close. They're not going to win the race to the base. It's going to be an infield single for the speedy center fielder, the Fighters. So he is aboard. That's his first hit here tonight, as he had come on for Kengo Yoshida. So Isobata and his wheels are aboard, and that is going to bring up the center fielder and Go Matsumoto. I wouldn't bat an eye here if Matsumoto would consider bunting again, but we were talking early in the ball game before he grounded into that double play. He is using the torpedo bat, as the Fighters had a number of players that had picked up the torpedo bats. So interesting to see where they would ask the player to bunt the ball. Usually on a regular bat, you always bunt it off the end of the bat. You don't want to bunt it in the sweet spot. So I wonder where you would actually look to bunt the ball off the torpedo. There's a first pitch fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Matsumoto. So no balls and 1 strike. When this game is done, we'll give you the full roundup and a recap of this one, as well as all the scores on the out-of-town scoreboard. So the right-hander leans in and gets this sign. Abe gets it from Wakatsuki. Here comes the pitch. The runner fakes like he's going, and then he slams on the brakes. Count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Matsumoto. Isobata looks like he really wants to get going here. He really wants to get in motion. And who can blame him? When you got wheels like him, I mean, let's see what kind of jump he's going to be able to get for himself. As they throw over to first base and diving back in time as the runner. Isobata on the season has got himself only a couple stolen bases. He's appeared in 17 games. He's 2 for 15 at the plate, hitting a .133, but as we all know, he is not there for so much his batting as much as he is for his wheels. But if he can find a way on the first base, he can create a lot of havoc. He stole 18 bases last year and 17 the year before. Unfortunately, he can't steal first. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses up and in. There goes the runner down to second. The throw is not going to be in time. Oh, it was a great throw. Excellent throw by the catcher Wakatsuki, but Isobata able to pick off a stolen base there. That's his first of the year now. I'm going to check that. His third of the year now. He's been caught 1 time. He can flat out fly. It's fun to watch when you can get some guys who can steal bases and move around the bags. I find that awesome. I think of over time guys who can, when you watch guys go first to third, I remember Ron LaFleur of the Detroit Tigers. He was fun to watch. Jose Reyes, when he was with the Mets in his early parts of his career, he was fun to watch too. There's a fastball swung on. It is lined over the first baseman. A nice catch there by Jordan Diaz. Matsumoto hit the ball right on the screws, right to the glove of Matsumoto, or right to the glove of Diaz. He's gone for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. Well, I think if I'm the Buffaloes here, I'm holding the four fingers up to Reyes. I want to take my chances with Yuki Nomura, although Nomura, I have to say, tonight has been a tough out to get. So 5-1 the scoreline. It doesn't look like they're going to hold any fingers up to Reyes here as the right-hander ready to go as he holds himself set at the belt. As they check the runner at second, now deliver. There's a fastball that's missing just under the hands, and the count is 1-0 to Reyes. Reyes, the big fella, ready to get himself back set in. 25 for 99 on the year is the big fella. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. As the right-hander checks the runner at second. Isabata even itchy over at second base. There's a fastball that misses inside. Count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Reyes waggling the bat. Waiting here on the offering from the right-hander, who holds again to the set. And here comes the 2-0 offering as he kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball missing down. They might as well just get it over with and just show him the fourth finger. I don't know if they're going to pitch to him or not. Bit of a waste. So 3 balls and no strikes it is. Sometimes they'll do that in the middle of the count and they'll want to get a fresh start. But as I said, Yuki Nomura, who's on deck, is swinging the hot stick here tonight. So 3 balls and no strikes to the big fella. As Abe nods in agreement with Wakatsuki, here comes the 3-0. And the pitch on the way is a split finger pitch missing down and away. It's going to be ball 4. So what we said at the beginning, should have just held up the 4 fingers. Well, Reyes is going to reach first base. He gets the job, but he sees 4 pitches. It's going to bring Yuki Nomura to the plate. Nomura has reached base every single time. And although we are going to get ourselves a pinch runner for the big fella Reyes, let's take a quick look to see who that is. It looks like it is Kazunori Ishii as he will come to run. So Ishii, the pinch runner. So Fighters have runners at first and second. Yuki Nomura coming to the plate. 2 for 2 tonight. He has reached base all 3 times. He also drew a walk. A single, a double. He scored a pair of runs. As he bats here with runners at first and second and 1 gone. Buffaloes in double play depth up the middle. The first pitch is a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up in the infield. It looks like the infield fly rule is in effect. Underneath it is Diaz. He's there to make the catch, and Nomura is going to be retired for the second out of the inning. So Diaz, a busy man here in the inning. He's caught a line drive, and he has caught a pop-up here for the second out, and that will bring up Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Well, another player who has had a strong night, Kiyomiya, is 2 for 3. He's homered, he's doubled, and he's driven in 3. As he steps to the plate here with 2 gone and 2 aboard at the top of the 7th inning. So Kiyomiya striding in, ready to face the right-hander Abe here. He's trying to wiggle himself out of the jam. With the 2 knocks tonight, he has raised his average to 257. As the right-hander Abe kicks and fires, there's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Waggling the bat here, waiting on the pitch. As the right-hander, well, now they've stepped off the backside of the rubber. Batter there giving Isabata some information. They're still concerned about Isabata. They're really jockeying to keep him at second base. They definitely don't want him to go anywhere else. Looks like we got another fighter with a torpedo bat. Of course, that is Kiyomiya here. We talked about the different ones. You can see some of the players are using them. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. So Shota Abe tried to dig himself out of a jam here. Got runners at first and second. 2 gone here in the top of the 7th inning. Buffaloes find themselves in a 5-1 deficit. Again, the right-hander holds to the set. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down. The count goes to 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes. So waiting again on the offering here, Kiyomiya, as he is heading the count 3-0. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. I was curious to see if Kiyomiya might get green lighted on that one. He was able to throw a breaking ball over for the strike. I'm curious to see what happened in the Padre game tonight. I guess Mike Schilt was upset that Fernando Tatis got ejected, and he made a spectacle tonight that he threw his glasses. I kind of want to see that as a highlight. So if you're on Instagram or maybe even on YouTube, as they throw behind at second base, Isabata reaches back safely. The play on there. It is still 3-1 here to Kiyomiya. I guess this was the first time that Fernando Tatis has been ejected. I guess the Padres did beat the Yankees on a soggy Monday night. I think that game was in New York. So I'd be curious to see what happened. I guess he threw his lineup card and his glasses, as there's a breaking ball has taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. The runners are going to be on the move here. I'm just kind of curious. I'd like to see those highlights. I'd like to see him throw his glasses and see how he threw his lineup card. Can make you really, really upset in those situations. So here comes the 3-2 pitch as the right-hander shakes off the catcher's signs. He's ready to go. And now they step off the backside of the rubbers. So they got to make sure he goes to the plate here. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kiyomiya. Runner at second base is Isabata. Runner at first is Reyes. Well, the pinch runner for Reyes has left the ball game here. As the pitch is on its way. There's a breaking ball swung on it. Is lifted into left field. Moving back on it is the left fielder, and that is Nishikawa is going to haul it in, and that is going to do it here. Kiyomiya is done for the 3rd out of the inning. There was no runs in the inning. There was 1 hit. There was no errors, and there was 2 runners left aboard. If our friend Gracie Lynn is still listening in, maybe she can watch this and tell us what she thinks. I don't know if she's been around for this one. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight. This is our rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Welcome back, everybody. Our friend Elliot said he watched the ejections and he saw Tatis did get in the ump's face, but the glasses toss was pretty good. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, I think I really like it. I believe I saw it during the World Baseball Classic qualifying as well. Well, you got to take me out to the ball game on the stream. There you go. I got to work on a little bit of that. I've got to do a few bit more pieces. I got a few things in mind. As we'll change up a little bit of those things. It is going to be Kai Nakagawa coming to bat. He has produced the only run here as he drove a single that brought home Tomoya Mori with the first and only run of the game for the Buffaloes. Not sure where Elliot's watching or listening in from, but we're glad you're with us. First pitch breaking ball is taken for a called strike. The count's 1-1 to Nakagawa. Nakagawa, as we said, 1 for 2 tonight, raised his season average up to 274. Getting the start in center field. A couple of years ago, he was getting a lot of center field and first base duty as the pitch is a fastball that misses inside and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. You have a change in the manager, so you have change in philosophy. It all depends on how they value certain players, certainly the management. That's what happened in the offseason. The Buffaloes had changed their manager. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. The count now goes to 1-2. Elliot says it's been a fun stream. He's been tuning in from Chicago. Yeah, it's a quiet night tonight. As we said last night, we had all kinds of people, and it was just a different flavor. I don't know if it was because it was the Bay Stars and the Dragons, or some nights it's a little bit different. There's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. The count remains at 1-2. We did announce part of our schedule for the rest of the week, and we can share that with you here tonight. Tomorrow, we got nothing on the slate. Not going to be able to do anything tomorrow, just the way that our day shapes up. Unfortunately, as the 1-2 on the way as a fastball swung on it is going to be looped into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Nakagawa is going to be aboard with a single. That's his second hit tonight. Bring up the shortstop in Kotaro Kobayashi. On Wednesday, we're planning to do a doubleheader. It's going to be the Astros and the Braves at 10:10 a.m. Pacific, or 1:10 p.m. if you are on the East Coast. We're going to follow it up with the Reds and the Braves at 4:15 Pacific or 7:15 Eastern. So hopefully you guys can jump on for that. Thursday, we'll follow it up with the Orioles and the Twins. That's going to be another 10:10 a.m. Pacific time game or 1:10 Eastern. Then on Friday, we come back to the Japanese League with the Eagles and the Fighters. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Kobayashi. And then on Saturday, weather permitting, it'll be the Carp and the Bay Stars. So that'll go off at 10 p.m. Pacific or 1 a.m. Eastern. Sunday we will be off, and Monday, well, we're going to have to wait and see. There is a Japanese game early on Monday, but you may have problems being able to do that. There's a breaking ball that misses away, and the count is 1-1, so we haven't thought that far ahead yet. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Kotaro Kobayashi. Jordan Diaz to follow here. Kenya Wakatsuki, possibly. As the bottom of the order is going to be entrusted to try to turn it over. There's a breaking ball waved out and missed. The count now goes to 1-2 on Kobayashi. We do get a lot of people that come and listen to our streams from the Chicago area. We've had, over the time period, we get number of people that listen in, Cubs fans. Not many White Sox fans. I don't know if anybody out there that actually admits to being a Chi Sox fan these days, but certainly the Cubs. Breaking ball swung on it is lifted foul into the seats down the right field line, and the count 1-2 to Kobayashi. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Again, the shortstop of the Buffaloes waiting here on the offering from the right-hander Ito. I wonder where Ito is going to be left off at. Ito's got 82 pitches so far. Pitch on the way. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Elliot says he's a Sox fan all the way. Well, there you go. Sox are a little bit difficult. My buddy over there, Sox has done some work for us in the past. That would be Josh Barfield. He's been up our way and he's done some work for us. Recent years, he's the assistant general manager. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2. Haven't talked to him a bit. I sent him some messages when I was in Japan last year, and I know he's always on the lookout for arms. Gave him a few bits of thought, but we're interested in seeing what we can see for the Taiwanese arms a little later this summer. But I do, even though the team was absolutely abysmal last year in setting records, being the Chi Sox, I do know what they're trying to do. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2 to Kirby-Ashi. They have to basically pretty much blow up most of that roster, and they want to get it going in a direction where they weren't really using they had analytic department, but they weren't using the analytics properly. So it was like the left hand and the right hand weren't talking. They had a lot of folks that from what I understand, and this is now me speculating, not saying it, but had a lot of people in the organization that were there when they won the World Series. What was it, in 2006? Here we are 20 years later, and they were doing things like it was 2006. And so they've had to make some changes there, and sometimes you got to go backwards before you go forwards. There's a fastball swung on, grounded to short. They go to second for one, back to first, and that's going to be a double play. That's going to be a 6-4-3 variety. So as far as I'm concerned, the guys are in good hands. You just have to be patient with that management group in Chicago. It's going to bring Jordan Diaz to the plate. Diaz is 0 for 2 tonight. He has grounded out both times. Both times he has swung at the first pitch he has seen. And both of the times he's grounded out to the second baseman. So hopefully the White Sox will get themselves in the right direction. There's the first pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Diaz. And you can also see, too, one of the things that I think in Chicago, he broke up a lot of that Latin contingent. You'll see some of that there. There's a breaking ball that swung on, is grounded up the middle. Ball's got eyes. It's going to get into center field for a base hit, and Diaz is aboard here as he's got himself a knock, his first hit of the night. That'll bring up the catcher in Kenya Wakatsuki. But certainly trying to overhaul that group now. I'd be also curious to know exactly what kind of players that they would be looking for in their mold. I could speculate and think about who they might have, but I don't really know a lot of those things. Obviously, certainly guys like Vaughn and Benintendi probably fit into their long-term plans. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. But there was a time there, I think it was almost like the Cuban national team was playing in Chicago. Other than Luis Robert, they had Moncada. I think they had about 4 or 5 players that were Cuban offensive players. There's a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul down the right field line. The count is now 0-2 to Wakatsuki. So often you got to remember how you value your players, and certainly changing the culture of the team is definitely interesting. You think of the team like the Philadelphia Phillies. How many American players are in that starting lineup? How many Latin players are in that team, period? They have a couple. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and a lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 1-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. I remember a few years ago when I was sitting in Arizona when Josh was with the Diamondbacks, and we were talking a little bit about Yoshi Hirano, who happened to be a pitcher for the Diamondbacks at the time. Fastball misses outside. Count is 1-2. Hirano, of course, the 40-plus-year-old pitcher for the Buffaloes. Longtime closer for the Buffaloes. And they were talking about the signing that they had made for him, and they were able to get him for basically an American money, next to nothing. got a veteran pitcher, and it was the arm slot, a different arm that nobody had seen. Breaking ball misses down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say that Wakatsuki didn't go. It's 2-2. You can bring somebody in from another country, a professional pitcher, whether it's Japan or whether it's Korea, whether it's Taiwan, wherever it might be. Major league hitters haven't seen them. You could probably go through the league once or twice with them. They can be fairly effective. I'd be curious to see what type of Japanese players might make the journey over. Like here's Ito here pitching. Ito would be nice. So would Imai from the Lions. There's a ball that's grounded foul past the third base bag. You know, you think of some of the players that have gone over in the last couple of years. Not too many others. I hear Imanaga got hurt the other night. I don't know that for sure. I think they were playing the Brewers, and obviously Shota Imanaga is one of those benefits for sure. Get a different type of arm, and he's paying dividends for you. I wonder when he gets around the league a second or a third time, how that's going to change, how they're going to attack him. Fastball swung on, grounded over to third. They go to second for the fielder's choice. That's going to retire Diaz. It's going to be a fielder's choice, 5-4 for the third out of the inning. And that will do it here for the Buffaloes in their half of the seventh. I have to tell you, this game here kind of dragging a bit. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 runner left aboard. I think of last night's game, we were pretty much done by the time this was at about 2 hours and 40 some odd minutes. This one here, we're going to the 8th inning. It is a 5-1 lead. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. We got a scoreline of 5-1 for the Fighters. We'll be back in just a few. We appreciate you guys for hanging with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. The Buffaloes are going to their bullpen again. It is going to be Ryoga Tomiyama who is coming in relief, as he is going to be yet another pitcher used here by the Buffaloes. That would be number 6 here on the night. So as we get him into our score sheet, so Ryoga Tomiyama here on in relief. So Tomiyama here is ready to face Chusei Manami, Shu Yamagata, and Tatsumi Mizuno. Our friend Elliot said it was a leg injury to Shota Imanaga. I know that somebody was in our stream yesterday night, and they said that it was, I think it was Daz Cameron was at bat, and they were interviewing Mike Cameron, who was making his debut for the Brewers. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. And this ball is going to be gone. The first pitch that Manami saw, he deposits it into the seats. It is going to extend the Fighters' lead to 6-1. So welcome to the ball game here. As he says to the left-hander with the first pitch that he sees. That's going to be the 7th home run of the season for Manami. And that is going to give the Fighters a 6-1 lead. It'll bring up the second baseman in Shu Yamagata. I was saying about Imanaga, so they were interviewing Mike Cameron, the son or the father of Daz Cameron, who was making his debut, and apparently that was at the time when Imanaga had got hurt. So hopefully he's not out all that long. As long as it's not an arm injury. There's a breaking ball that swung on, and that's 0-1. Now the next question is you got to be careful always with the lower body injury because that could affect your timing. If it's a hamstring or a calf, or if you rolled an ankle, you got to make sure that you come back because that will affect the timing of your throwing sometimes. As that breaking ball misses down, it counts as 1-1. I remember years ago when Mark Fidrich pitched with the Detroit Tigers, he hurt his knee in spring training, and he was never really the same after that. A fastball, take it for a called strike. The count is 1-2 to Yamagata. Yamagata 0 for 3, as we said. He'd grounded out twice and flown to center. As the pitch on the way as the fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side. Fielded neatly by Oda. He throws to first, and that is going to retire. Yamagata on a ground out, 4-3 for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the shortstop and Tatsumi Mizuno. Well, for Mizuno, he is officially 1 for 2 tonight. He's singled and has driven in a run, but he's also drawn a walk. He's reached base all 3 times because the second time when he struck out, he had reached on a wild pitch. So Mizuno coming to the plate here. Waiting on the first offering here from the lefty Tomiyama, who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on, grounded over to the right side. Is it going to be fair? Yes, it is. It's going to get down the line into right field. Mizuno digging hard, and he's going to cruise into second with a stand-up double. Ball was hit right down the line. So Mizuno having himself a nice night with a couple of knocks. It's going to bring up the catcher in Tori Fushimi. And for Fushimi, well, he's got a single in 3 trips tonight. He's also struck out and grounded out. As the left-hander ready to go again. Fushimi here, batting from the right side against his former club. As the first pitch ready to come. Now he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. This ball backing up on it is the left fielder, Nishikawa. He's going to make the catch, and he's going to fire it back in. Retreating back to second base is Mizuno. So 2 in the books here, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Ryo Isabata. And for Isabata, well, he is officially 1 for 1 tonight. He singled and stole a base his last time up. With that single here in the ball game, he is now 3 for 16 on the season, batting .188. So batting from the left side here is the left-handed hitting Isabata as the lefty holds himself to the set. Now Tomiyama ready to deliver. Pitch on the way. That is a breaking ball that misses down and in. The count is 1-0. I was talking earlier on, I was saying tonight about the video that I'd seen with the Tampa Bay Ray player. The philosophy that they are going to set up right down the middle of the plate till they get to 2 strikes. Set up middle, and see how the hitters would react. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field. Charging hard is Sugimoto, and he's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it. Come back and talk a little bit more about that philosophy when we return. That's going to do it here. A solo shot to start the inning by Manami. There's 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left aboard. Over to the bottom of the 8th inning, Buffaloes are running out of outs. It's the top of the order to come to bat. We'll be back here in just a couple moments. We'll see if Hiromi Ito stays in or if they're going to make a decision to go to the bullpen. We'll be back in just a few. We appreciate you guys for being here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Hang with us, everybody. You are listening to live NPB commentary with Last Raps Baseball. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Japan Baseball Report, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well. It is NPB Japan Baseball Report. Stay up to date with all the other followers who are a fan of the Japanese game. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the top of the order. It'll be Taishi Haruka, Ryoma Nishikawa, and Ryo Oda to come to bat here to start the 8th inning. Just getting a quick peek here as it is a 6-1 ball game. We haven't adjusted our scoreline yet. It does look like we have a reliever coming in here for the Fighters, as it is going to be the end of the night for Hiromi Ito. So we are at 6-1 as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. As that solo shot in the last half inning, or half inning ago, has added to the lead off the bat of Chusei Manami. So Nabatami is the reliever, as he will be taking over. This is Tsubasa Nabatami, who is coming in, making his 8th appearance of the year. He is yet to allow a earned run. So he is coming on in relief. And so the first one he'll face will be Taishi Haruka, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Batting from the right side here against the right-hander, there's a fastball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-0. Just peeking at the out-of-town scoreboard, the final score to Kurazawa, 10-0 as the Hawks destroyed the Lions tonight. Fastball misses inside. The count now goes to 2-0. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Bay Stars have a 3-0 lead over the Dragons at the Vantolin Dome. Looking to make it 2 straight over the Dragons. Fastball misses inside. That's going to be ball 4, and Haruka is going to get himself a walk to lead off the 8th inning. That's not exactly what the manager Shinjo had in mind when he brought in Nabatami, and that'll bring up the left fielder in Ryoma Nishikawa. Well, for Nishikawa, he's been aboard twice tonight. He was hit by a pitch, and he singled. He's flown out to left, so officially in the books as 1 for 2. So Nishikawa gets himself set, hitting .305 now on the season with a homer and 9 runs batted in. The left fielder, former Carp for the Buffaloes, swings at the first pitch and hammers this into right field. This is going to get down. It's going to get all the way to the wall. It's going to be extra bases. Rounding second and heading to third and stopping at third is going to be Haruka. And so the Buffaloes are not dead yet. They've got runners at second and third with nobody out. And that is going to bring Ryo Oda to the plate. So a 5-run lead here for the Fighters as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Manager Shinjo probably didn't have this in mind when he brought Nabatami in relief. So that brings Oda to the plate, or is scheduled to bring Oda to the plate. He is 0 for 3 tonight. He had struck out twice and grounded out against the starter, Hiromi Ito. Oda, who is really swinging a hot stick entering tonight's ball game. As we said, 0 for 3. That could all get changed around here. He's batting .374 on the year. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that is swung on. It is lifted into shallow center field, giving chase and making it over the shoulder of the catch. Tagging at third. Oh, why didn't he tag and go? Unbelievable. The play was made by Mizuno. He turned it. He just hoisted it back into the infield. The throw was probably about 35 feet up the third baseline in foul territory. And it was hauled in by the catcher, Fushimi. And had he tagged at third base, Haruka, he would have been able to score because there was nobody at home plate. But Mizuno makes the play, and they're able to get the out for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Yataro Sugimoto. Our friend Gracie Lynn said she's fallen asleep and wanted to say goodnight before she disappeared. Appreciate you, Gracie Lynn, for listening in. She's going to try to make the Braves game on Wednesday, might even make the Brewers. There's a first pitch fastball swung on and missed by Sugimoto. The count is 0-1. We much appreciate you for your support and always listening in. So, Gracie Lynn, you have yourself a great night, young lady. We'll see you again soon. So, no balls and 1 strike to Sugimoto. He's 0 for 3 tonight, as we said. 3 flyouts. As the pitch is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count goes even to 1-1. So, Sugimoto and then Tomoya Mori on deck. Buffaloes need to cash in a couple of runs if they want to be able to stay in striking distance of the Fighters. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to the right side, and it is fielded in foul territory. Oh, boy. Not only was it fielded in foul territory by the first baseman, Nomura, but he had kicked it around. So Sugimoto is going to go back, and he's going to have to get himself a new piece of lumber, as that one was broken. It looked like he may have cued it off the end of the bat. Yeah, that ball had a lot of spin on it, and Nomura had fielded it in foul territory before it got to the bag. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sugimoto. So the runner at third is Haruka. Runner at second, Nishikawa. There is 1 gone here in the 8th. The Buffaloes are threatening as the reliever Nabatami is in. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Buffaloes find themselves in a 5-run deficit, but this is the most action they've had on the base paths in quite a few innings here. Probably not since the 4th, when they had a couple of runners on board. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That was where they cashed their run in. There's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled off right into the catcher, as he had applied the tag to Sugimoto, but nope, it's a foul ball here, and the count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nabatami really struggling here, as he allowed a walk and then a knock here, as he is ready to deliver the 12th pitch of the inning here to Sugimoto. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting right fielder of the Buffaloes. Buffaloes in first place have a 2-game lead over the Fighters. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Sugimoto for the 2nd out of the inning. He took his fishing rod with him, and he cast the line and came away with nothing, as he is going to be gone for the 2nd out of the inning. It'll bring up the designated hitter in Tomoya Mori. Well, it's kind of do or die here. It's now or never. If the Buffaloes are going to get back into this game, they need a hit here from Tomoya Mori. Mori is 1 for 3. He scored the only run for the Buffaloes, as he had singled and then went all the way around to third on the error by Chusei Manami. As the first pitch from the right-hander on the way, it's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And on that note, we were talking earlier on, we were saying about the story that the prospect from the Tampa Bay Rays had talked about. Paul Giovesi, 95% of the time, if you throw a first pitch strike down the middle, you're going to get a positive result. Either a called strike, a swinging strike, a foul ball, or a ball that's put in play for an out. I'd like to actually do a whole game and try to count on something like that, but those are center cut fastballs. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Count is 0-2 now to Mori. Well, maybe not even center cut, just pitches right down the middle. Middle. You can attack the zone on that first pitch. What becomes the result? So no balls and 2 strikes, says Mori here. Waiting on the offering from the right-hander, who delivers a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tomoya Mori trying to push a couple more runs across the plate here for the Buffaloes. Fighters enjoying a 6-1 lead here at the Kyocera Dome in Osaka. As the right-hander holds to the belt, now delivers. There's a fastball that misses down for a ball. Count is 2-2. When I saw a couple of games in Osaka a couple of years ago, it was the Yomiuri Giants and the Hiroshima Carp. They played a neutral site game there in September. It's kind of interesting to be able to see that there. But I did not see the Buffaloes. I saw the Buffaloes at Hodomoto Field in Kobe, which is kind of a neat place to see a game. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball misses up and in. It's going to be ball 3. Well, that means that the runners are going to be in motion here. Maybe not. Actually, sorry, I stand corrected on that. It's runners are at second and third here. Runners, they could be in motion, but they could be in some trouble if it's going to be ball 4, as they would run themselves into an out potentially. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. I guess it's getting a little late here too. It is at the 1 o'clock hour on the West Coast. 4 a.m. if you're listening Eastern time. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. On the way, it is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2 to Mori. Kai Nakagawa waiting his turn on deck. I'm sure he would like to get to the plate here to face the right-hander Nabatami. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mori. As Nabatami ready to go. He leans in. He's got his sports goggles on. He looks like a Chris Sabo pitching. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. It's going to get all the way to the wall. It's off the Pioneer sign. Rounding third and heading home with the second run is Nishikawa. And the Buffaloes have cut the lead to 6-3 on the double by Mori. That's his second hit of the ball game. As both Haruka and Nishikawa come across the plate. And the score is now 6-3, and that'll bring up Kai Nakagawa to the plate. And for Nakagawa, he is 2 for 3 tonight. He has singled twice. He's also driven in a run. He's also flown out to right field. So Nakagawa ready to face the right-hander Nabatami for the first time tonight. So the Buffaloes are not dead yet, as the Fighters try to close this one out. So batting .281 on the season is Nakagawa. He's pulled his average up 12 points tonight. He takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. Count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Right-hander against the right-hander. The Buffalo crowd are willing their team on. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. Count now goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Nakagawa waggling the bat, waiting here on the offering from the right-hander Nabatami, who holds himself to the set. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball waved at and missed. The count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fighters and Buffaloes fighting it out for the top spot in the Pacific League. Buffaloes entered the game tonight with a 2-game lead over the Fighters. I'm still not convinced that the Fighters are going to end up on the top of the heap here. I think they're another year away. That's the 1-2 on the way as a breaking ball waved at and missed. And Nakagawa's gone in the books. He's out for the 3rd out of the inning, but not until the Buffaloes get a couple of runs back. They got 2 runs in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. The scores, we move to the top of the 9th inning. It is the Fighters 6 and the Buffaloes 3. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in a little bit with all the action. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. We got a pitching change again here for the Buffaloes. It is going to be Nobuyushi Yamada as he is coming on in relief. Nobuyushi Yamada is going to be the seventh pitcher used tonight by the Buffaloes. So it is Yamada on in relief as he is going to be taking over here for the reliever Tomiyama. So as the lefty is just completing his tune-up tosses, we'll be ready to resume the action here in just a couple moments. Just looking ahead to tomorrow night, as there are going to be the pitchers have been announced for the ball games tomorrow in some of the cases, not all. Tomorrow it is going to be going for the Buffaloes. It'll be Hiroya Miyagi, and he is going to be taking on the starter for the Fighters. It was a one-time Buffalo. It's going to be Sachiya Yamazaki. It's going to be Kona Takahashi. He's going to be going for the Lions at the Baluna Dome, and he's going to be facing now Higashiyama. So that is going to be that one there. And then Brian Sammons is making the start for the Marines against Seifuji for the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Well, here comes the first offering here to Go Matsumoto. It's a fastball that misses down for ball one. Count is 1-0. It'll be Onuki versus Ono in the Bay Stars and Dragons affair. It'll be Daichi Osera who takes to the hill against Yamano over for the Swallows. They haven't announced the starters for the Giants and the Tigers yet, as they will do that closer to their game time. As that pitch misses upstairs, it's now 2-0 here to Matsumoto. So 2 balls and no strikes. We're in the top of the ninth inning. The Buffaloes had cut the lead to 6-3. Fighters trying to close this one out. Matsumoto at the plate here, waiting on the offering from the lefty, who kicks and fires. It is a fastball that's taken for a called strike. The count is 2-1. Franmil Reyes is spot in the batting order. He is supposed to come to bat next, but Reyes was pinch run for in his last at bat when he had the base on balls in the 7th inning. I'm not sure if we would actually see the DH in Kazunori Ishii. We did come in to run for him. We may see somebody else. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count goes to 2-2. I guess we're going to have to wait until he comes out on deck. And then it'll be Nomura to follow after that. And Nomura is 2 for 3, and so he has had some big blows here tonight for the Fighters. But the Buffaloes have to get through Go Matsumoto first before they get into the heart of the order. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball misses outside. It's now 3-2 to Matsumoto. As we said, sometimes you can see games how they just clip along, and other games where they seem to drag. And as soon as they went to the bullpen, that's where the time gets added to the games. The pitching changes, the guys, they make the call to the bullpen. You get a different arm come in. They got to warm up. Got to come in from the pen. So the ball game is slowed down a little bit as the 3-2 pitch is on the way. There's a fastball swung on it, is grounded over to the right side, fielded neatly by the first baseman Diaz. He's going to win the race to the base. That's going to be a ground out to 3 for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Franmil Reyes to the plate. But as we said before, it looks like I think it's Kazunori Ishii who is the runner for him. And is that going to be who it is? Yeah, it's going to be Ishii who's going to get the chance to swing. So Ishii coming to bat here. As he is replacing the aforementioned Franmil Reyes. Pretty good fighter contingent for this game here in Osaka. A lot of people making the trip across the country. Ishii waiting here on the offering. He is 5 for 26 this year. He is batting 192, no homers and 3 RBIs. As the left-hander holds to the set. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. No balls, so 1 strike to Ishii. Left-hander against the left-hander as the pitch is on the way. It's a breaking ball missing down, and the count goes even to 1-1. So Yamada, the 7th pitcher used tonight by the Buffaloes. Turned into be quite a bullpen day. If they could have survived the 3 runs in the second inning, they might have had a chance here. As the 1-1 on the way, it is a fastball swung on and fouled straight back, and the count goes to 1-2 on Kazushi. New baseball here for Yamada as he rubs it up, ready to go again. Leans in, gets this sign from his catcher Wakatsuki, holds at the belt. Here comes the 1-2. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball swung on and missed. And Ishii's in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it all up to the first baseman and Yuki Nomura. Well, for Nomura, officially 2 for 3 tonight. He's got a single, a double. He's scored a pair of runs. He's also drawn a walk. So the left-hander who reached for the rosin bag, ready to go here as Nomura is standing in. As the lefty works himself into the set, here comes the pitch. Breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. This ball could be trouble. Is this ball going to be gone? And it is gone. A home run as Nomura hits it into the upper deck there where a lot of the Fighter fans are waving their flags. So he comes around. He's going to get himself the 7th run here for the Fighters in this one. Home run in the inning. And that is going to cash him in. He has had himself a big night tonight. The only thing he misses, he was a triple short of the cycle. So he have re-extended the lead, a 4-run lead here. 7-3 here for the Fighters. So that is going to bring up the 3rd baseman in Kentaro Kiyomiya. So for Kiyomiya, he is 2 for 4 in this one. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike as the left-handed hitting 3rd baseman waits, and there's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As the pitch is a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul, the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As the lefty kicks and fires, there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. Again, the lefty, Yamada, ready to go here. It's a little bit quiet of a night. I kind of apologize to some people as I watch some of this game here, and it's got such a drag to it. As we watch the games in the Central League, I know the pitchers are the ones who hit. As that fastball misses down, it's now 3-2. I think about this game as I'm watching it here. It is putting me to sleep sometimes just at the slow pace of the game. Maybe it's been the fact that we've been watching as I said, the Central League where the pitchers hit. Maybe that's the dead out in the lineup that they need, less pitching changes. I'm not sure. Maybe that has been a little different because the strategy you have to manage a little bit more. There's a fastball swung on, grounded to short. Kobayashi fields it. He's going to throw to first. That's going to do it. And that'll do it here for the Fighters in their half of the inning. But they re-extend their lead. It is now a 7-3 ball game. 1 run in the inning on 1 hit on the home run by Nomura. There was no errors and nobody left. We're moving to the bottom of the 9th inning. Coming down to their final 3 outs are the Buffaloes. They're going to be sending the bottom 3 hitters to the plate. Scheduled to hit will be Kobayashi, Diaz, and Wakatsuki. Stay with us, everybody. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back here in just a couple moments with all the action for the bottom of the 9th inning when we return in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. Our friend Relis Gonzalez says that homer messed him up. He needs 1 point from the Buffaloes. Well, we're going to find out if that's going to happen. The bottom of the 3rd of the batting order is coming to bat, and we'll be back in just a moment with all the action. I do believe we're going to have ourselves another pitching change, and we'll see what that is when we come back. Hang tight, everybody. You are listening to live NPB commentary with Last Raps Baseball. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Japan Baseball Report, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to join our Facebook group as well. It is NPB Japan Baseball Report. Stay up to date with all the other followers who are a fan of the Japanese game. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Seiji Tanaka coming on in relief as he is going to be taking over here for the Fighters for the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be the 3rd pitcher used here. Tanaka on the season as he's making his 10th appearance. He's got no wins, a loss, and he does have 7 saves. This will be a non-save situation. He has worked 8 1/3 innings. He's allowed 7 hits. He's walked 2 and struck out 7. And he's pitched to a 2.16 earned run average. So Tanaka is in, and he's going to be facing Kitaro Kobayashi to lead it off, and then it'll be Diaz and Wakatsuki to follow. So here we are back to the live action as the right-hander kicks and fires. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is quickly 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Sometimes when closers come into the game, when the game is on the line, they are laser focused. Sometimes when closers come in and there's a bit of a spread, as we say, a non-save situation, sometimes don't come in with the same vigor. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count goes to 1-1. The Buffaloes have 3 outs left as they've got to try to manufacture 4 runs with. As Kobayashi waits here on the offering from Tanaka, who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball chop foul over on the 3rd base side. Count is 1-2 to Kobayashi. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. The rare Tuesday afternoon game, or Monday night if you're in North America, for the Japanese League. We jumped on this one here. There's the breaking ball that is swung on and missed. Kobayashi is going to be tagged, and he is going to be gone for the first out of the inning. So 1 away here. It's going to bring up the first baseman in Jordan Diaz. Last pitch there was down in the dirt and fooled Kobayashi as he had swung around through it. So that comes to the plate is Diaz. He is 1 for 3 tonight. He was raced in a fielder's choice in the 7th inning as the first pitch on the way is a fastball that misses outside. Count is 1-0. Have to say this tonight, that Diaz does not waste much time. He comes up to the plate and he is swinging when he gets out of the dugout. So at the first pitch he saw in his first 2 at-bats and the second pitch on the last at-bat, there's a fastball swung on. It's lifted into deep right field. Just moving back a little bit is Manami. He's going to make the catch, and Diaz is not wasting any time as he flies out to the right fielder for the second out of the inning. That's going to leave it all up to the catcher Wakatsuki, but he is going to get pinch hit for here, as we're going to see Tomoya Noguchi come to bat for him. And for Noguchi, he is 5 for 17 on the season. He's hitting .294. So Noguchi on to pinch hit as the Buffaloes are down to their final out. And here comes the first pitch from Tanaka. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So our friend Morello says he needs a home run. Yeah, 2 outs already. The Buffaloes are running out of outs, that's for sure. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right field. Moving back is Manami, but he's got room, and he's got to make the catch. Oh, he gave it a ride, but just not deep enough. Our friend Rouse, unfortunately, you're not going to win this one here tonight. That is the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here for the Buffaloes in their half of the 9th inning. There was no runs in the inning. There was no hits. There was no errors, and nobody left the board. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We'll wrap this one up for you. Your final score was the Fighters 7 and the Buffaloes 3. Appreciate you guys for listening in with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard roundup when we return, and when we'll call it a night. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a few.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to wrap this one up here for you. We'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard, and then we'll call it a night. The Fighters got things going in the 2nd inning as they had back-to-back doubles off the bats of Nomura, Kiyomiya, and Manami, as that had given them an early 2-0 lead. And then with 1 out, it was a Tatsumi Mizuno base hit single that brought home Manami with the 3rd run of the inning. 3-0, the Fighters had the lead. Buffaloes got one back in the 4th inning with 2 out. It was a single by Mori and an error by the right fielder. Manami allowed him to go all the way around to 3rd. And then Kai Nakagawa brought him going home with the base hit single to make the scoreline 3-1. Well, the Fighters added to their lead in the 6th inning. A leadoff single by Yuki Nomura, and up stepped Kitaro Kiyomiya, and he deposited a 2-run shot into the seats. That made the scoreline 5-1. Top of the 8th inning, it was a Chusei Manami leadoff home run that increased the scoreline to 6-1. Buffaloes ended up coming back in the bottom of the 8th with a pair of their own. Leadoff walk to Taishi Haruka. Ryoma Nishikawa doubled. And after a couple out, it was a Tomoya Mori double that brought home a pair of runs that cut the lead to 6-3. But the Fighters, for good measure, added a solo shot home run with 2 out in the 9th inning off the bat of Yuki Nomura. That was his 5th of the season. And that made the final score 7-3 for the Fighters. I want to thank everybody who popped in tonight. Red Beard, our friend, God is great. Raul Gonzalez, to mention our good friend Gracie Lynn, Elliott, who was in here earlier tonight. We appreciate all of you guys for listening. We'll take a quick peek at the out-of-town scoreboard here And then we will call it an evening. A couple of games were rained out across the NPB tonight, as in Tokyo had some rain. Carp and the Swallows at the Jingu was canceled, as was the Eagles and the Marines at the Zozo Marine Stadium. But the other games that went on, it was a final score in the Pacific League 10-0. The Hawks skunked the Lions. Levon Minello picked up the win in that one there. He goes to 3-0. Ueda takes the loss. He goes to 0-1. And that ball game there was in front of 27,235. Only took 2 hours and 38 minutes to play. The other game that is going on in the bottom of ninth inning in the Vantolin Dome is a 3-0 Bay Stars lead. That's in front of 36,287. That looks like it's now a final. It's going to be Jackson who gets the win. He goes to 3-1. Wakui took the loss. Here again is 6th save. We saw him close it out last night as well. Well, there you go, everybody. There is your final scores. There's your roundup. The other game that goes off a little bit later will be the Tigers and the Giants. That goes off at the Egg a little later this morning. Have a great night, everybody. We will see you again soon. We appreciate you guys for listening in on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Have yourselves a great night. Elliot, you have a great night as well. Thanks for the commentary, and thank you for being here. Have a great night, everybody.